Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is the week in review. I will say from what I watched this week, and this is the first week so far in the new year where unfortunately I didn't really watch any AEW content, but Ashton filled me in. Did not like what I heard. I'll just say that straight away. But as far as WWE content goes, given that we are in the aftermath of the Royal Rumble, um, very interesting week this week. I thought Raw was pretty solid, and of course, everybody is talking about SmackDown. Unfortunately, in my mind, talking about SmackDown for all the wrong reasons because of how it ended. But there was a brilliant segment on SmackDown this Friday. I would say it's WWE's best segment so far of the year. Um, that, of course, being for the Women's Championship, Bayley and Io Sky. That's my WrestleMania main event right there. I thought they killed it. And I will say, SmackDown as a whole, when you put aside the main event segment, I really like the energy they're coming with. I've got some things I'd like to talk about on that side. And I unfortunately didn't get to tune into Impact, but I do hope to do so going into next week and maybe talking about that as far as like the extracurricular segment, because I do want to keep up with what they're doing, especially because it does seem like their tag team division starting to flex a little bit. But I want to check in with you, Ashton. How'd you feel about this week in the world of wrestling?
It's actually interesting that you mentioned Bailey and Io being the sort of segment of the year candidate because I would even argue that not only was that a segment of the year candidate, but before a potential challenger appeared, I would also say that Roman Reigns cut a promo of the year candidate on SmackDown last night.
I would agree. I
I
would
thought
I
that
would
his
definitely agree.
promo was incredible. He is in his bag right now on the mic, and I love that for him.
Definitely, man. There's not a question about it. Um, so I know we usually do things on this show. So let's rip off the band-aid because I really do want to get to WWE this week. Like that's where I really feel like the meat on the bone
Yeah,
is.
no, honestly,
Um,
dude, I think that we should talk about the elephant in the room first. Let's just address it. Let's talk about it. Let's get it out of the way. And then, hey, if anyone comes in and is like, "Oh, what do you guys got to talk about the thing?" We can just say, "Oh yeah, we already did."
You know what? Yeah, because it is newsworthy. I know we always stress not a recap show. We do try and keep to things that either we liked, we hated, or that are just worth talking about. And this is definitely a worth talking about category.
Yeah.
And of course, I think you're referring to Cody and The Rock and
Yeah.
Roman, and that whole thing. Um, I will go first just because I know I'm the more talkative between the two of us, but I'm actually going to be succinct or at least try to be and say that I think so much of this has gotten blown out of proportion. And to be honest, of all the internet movements we've seen in like the history of WrestleMania season, mainly the Yes movement and Kofi Mania, this is the most ridiculous movement you're taking up for Cody freaking Rhodes, which to me is laughable. And we've got people that are like, I don't think he's even going to get a championship match at WrestleMania, which makes no sense to me.
There's one
Hasn't
one person saying that exactly.
one person saying that exactly, yes, but I'm seeing other people that are like, oh, the creative's awful, oh, they wasted the Royal Rumble. So like, even if they're not saying that exactly, it's still all kind of in the same continuum to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let things play out. I
Yeah.
don't care about anybody in this except Roman. Uh, it's amazing actually how good Roman is. That the best part about a prospective feud with The Rock, which it does seem like it's going to be happening, is just how he's going to bury The Rock on the mic. Because I think he's going to scorch him. Absolutely. I think Rock's promos, even the promo he cut on Jinder, which should be the easiest target to like, put down and like, oh, uh, it just felt so contrived and so by the numbers. And it's like, where's the fucking where's the passion, the energy? No, Roman's gonna cook this dude. And I just think Cody fans, look, they're not gonna waste his Rumble win. Could he face Seth? That is possible. I personally don't see it. I'm still with you, like what you said on the Discord. It's a divisible by 10 mania. It's going to be a triple threat. It seems like the spiritual tradition of this pay per view. And even then, you know what, dude? The funny fucking thing is, I could still see Roman retaining, if only because, like, if they want his title reign to end, I think it's got to be a singles match. It's got to be that I beat Roman Reigns straight up. And I still think they'd want to give that distinction to Cody. But outside of my personal conjecture, you got to let things play out. And to be honest, when it comes to this story, I really don't care to see how it plays out. As far as I'm concerned, Io Sky versus Bailey right now is my WrestleMania main event. But how do you feel about all this? Because I know you've been in a lot of the discourse, like I have, particularly on our Discord, which is $3 a month for anybody that is interested in joining our server. You can check it out in the Patreon description box below. So, how did you feel about this segment?
I just find it hilarious, honestly. I think it's funny as hell that people are panicking and freaking out the way that they are. I've been posting the Cartman licking Scott Tenorman's tears gif multiple times over the course of the last
Yes.
24 hours. I think
Yes.
it's funny, man. I think it is so funny that people are losing their minds, freaking out, talking about. I mean, we've already talked about Craig talking about how I don't think Cody's going to get any shot at any championship at WrestleMania this year. We've got people saying that he's going to just settle for Seth. That's the report from Meltzer, because remember back in 2014 when Meltzer said, "Oh yeah, no, the plan is Orton, Batista, and Bryan's opponent is Sheamus."
Yeah.
It's like people haven't been through this shit before. It's hilarious.
Like, to act like, and here's the thing again, I find the whole hashtags and the whole quote unquote movement ridiculous. I actually think it's offensive to the other movements that seem genuinely beautiful and organic and like moving. But that's just me, and I'm very petty because I just fucking hate Cody Rhodes and I hate The Rock. But like, WWE's gonna take note of that too. And Cody's probably gonna like allude to it like, what do you want to talk about? Anything but you, motherfucker.
That
Um,
phrase is
so yeah.
becoming a trigger for me.
Yeah. God, dude. They just, but I think again it goes to show, like, because we had a good friend of ours and a great fan of the show, Sean. He was at SmackDown on Friday, and he talked about like what fans popped for, and he's like, nobody in this arena gives a fuck about the IWC, and like I think he makes a worthwhile point. Like, for however I feel about Dwayne, you showed the Google Analytics. The dude's a draw. The dude's gonna make money because ain't nobody plugged in to what people in a corner of the internet are arguing about, why Cesaro should have been a five-time world champion in WWE and why The Rock should have done the job to
Dude,
so and so. Like, nobody cares.
it is going to
Nobody
be
cares.
hilarious if they actually do go through with Roman Rock, which I don't think they will, one on one, now, at least not one on one. But if they
Yeah.
actually do, it is going to be fucking hilarious watching an entire crowd shit on another WrestleMania main event while they continue to draw in and proceed to continue to make the most money they've ever made in their lives. Like, they keep breaking records every single time there's a pay-per-view. Triple H gets to go out there at the press conference and hopefully not give an embarrassing answer to an important question every time, but every time he gets to go out there, he gets to
Wink,
talk
wink.
about, yeah, every time he gets to go out there, he gets to talk about how they set a new record for, I don't know if it's attendance or profit or maybe both, for
Both,
a
probably.
new non-WrestleMania. This time it's going to be for WrestleMania, and they're going to set the record again. And it's gonna be because, or at least partially because of Dwayne, and they're gonna have him to thank for it. And the entire wrestling industry, or not the industry, but the fandom is gonna be against it and against him, and they're gonna be booing him the whole time if he sticks around long enough and tolerates the boos, because he does have a very soft ego and he might not. But if he does, though, they are going to draw a massive gate. They're going to literally increase Peacock subscriptions by more than they've probably had an increase since the first few months that the service was fucking active. Like, they are going to do incredible business, and Triple H is going to be laughing at all of the boos all the way to the bank.
Yeah, like he's gonna be like, "Oh, you guys didn't like that? Here, let me show you our bank statement from WrestleMania." Like, and I
Man,
want
if
to,
only booze really, like, translated financially. Like, if only the people who are actually angry about this and feel hurt and feel betrayed and feel robbed could, I don't know, make their pain be felt by the WWE financially. It's just a shame they can't, because for every one of them, there are 3 or 4 people who don't watch WWE anymore who will be brought back in by the fact that Dwayne the Rock Johnson is going to be wrestling at WrestleMania.
And so, like I was saying, I think the product absolutely sucks, and this company should be ashamed of itself for what it did to Cody Rhodes. So you got front row seats that'll be 500. Oh yeah, yeah. Here you go. So anyway, like I was saying, it sucks, and they should be absolutely. It's like
Oh
what
no,
the
dude.
fuck.
By the way, you said front row seats 500. I don't know if you saw this. The cheapest. Oh no, wait. No, you know what? Actually, I need to reel myself in. I was thinking Super Bowl. I saw something about Super Bowl tickets that blew my mind. But I don't know about WrestleMania, so I can't say that. But
Well, I know they're probably a lot more expensive. I just threw out a number for the sake of the joke, but the
no,
point is,
dude.
like,
Super Bowl tickets
yeah,
this year. The cheapest Super Bowl tickets this year are 8 grand.
Jesus Christ. Thanks, Joe Biden. Uh,
Dude,
but
they
no,
range all the way up to 2 million.
bro. I wanted to circle back though to something that Foster said in chat. And I do want to welcome everybody to the chat. Charles, Cam, Alex Foster, Super Blue, Justin Martinez. Great to see you guys. And I know more people will hopefully file in. But Foster made a great point saying, I feel like there are real life situations that don't get this much attention compared to Cody. And we could even point to, we could keep it within the world of wrestling, which is what this series is about. I already feel like less is being talked about with Vince in the lawsuit because of the Cody stuff. Like I haven't seen, now again, that's just me. Maybe you've still seen people talking about it. I haven't seen anybody bring up Vince because now I feel like Cody has dominated the discourse.
Yeah.
So I think Foster actually makes a really salient point here. And it really just boggles my mind, bro. It really does. I'm like, it was one segment. Rock whispered something to Cody. Maybe he'll even share it. Maybe he won't. I don't fucking know. But like,
I will say,
I
by
don't
the
know,
way, I
man.
want to just kind of just get these numbers in here real quick. The cheapest WrestleMania tickets that I can find are $240. Front row, you're looking at thousands.
I knew 500 wasn't correct, but yeah, because with it being Mania, you're gonna have to pay out the nose for good seats.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and Foster followed up with it. Another Discord server I'm in, people still won't stop. Like
Oh yeah.
it's
No, dude, you gotta
God.
understand. I am also in another server, an NFL draft Discord server, where we have a wrestling thread, and it's somewhat active. I would say similarly active to our Discord, like in general. And they literally were not talking about Collision at all tonight. An hour and a half went by, and they were still talking about Cody and Dwayne. And I had to interject with like, "Oh yeah, guys, what do you think about Brian Keith signing?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, whatever."
Yeah,
Like
I
people
mean,
just
dude,
don't
like,
care about anything but Cody right now. It's hilarious.
dude,
It's like, I don't
Jesus.
know. Do people know that they've been like co-opted into this basically?
I mean, yeah, and like, no, this is definitely on me. This next part I'm about to say, this does with my preference, my subjective taste, what have you. But I look at it too, and I'm kind of mystified because I'm like, it's Cody Rhodes. Like, it's not that deep. Like, what is it about this dude? Like, I would genuinely, I'm not even like trying to be an asshole when I say this. I would genuinely love to do one of those like street polls, but you're in a crowd of wrestling fans. Maybe it's like a WrestleCon or some stuff. And like just randomly poll people, hey, are you a fan of Cody Rhodes and why? And for every yes I get, I would love to see the reasons why for these people. Because if it really is just about he's doing it for his dad, which I could see that being a lot of the responses. I saw somebody recently, since we're kind of talking a little bit outside wrestling because you mentioned Super Bowl tickets. I saw an interview where this lady was like, "Oh, why are you voting for Donald Trump?" And it was the usual stuff. But one line that a guy had that really stuck out to me was like, "He was the first president I saw that hugged the American flag, and that meant something to me." And I'm like, people can sometimes just have very basic reasons for why they support something or someone. It's not always that deep, and maybe that is the case with Cody. I don't know, because this support that he has, I don't get it at all. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, man, I really wish Sammy or Jay would get that kind of support, but this is the timeline we live in, unfortunately. Uh God.
It is really hilarious that people I literally, dude, there was one dude in another, like I said, it was in the draft Discord server in the wrestling channel. He was acting like he was like a brand new wrestling fan. Like he has only been watching this for like 3 or 4 years. I had to ask him how long he's been watching. 17 years. I was blown the fuck away. I was like, what the blue? Like, how do you have that much experience with this business, with this company, with the WWE, and not see what they're doing?
Yeah. Why aren't you challenging it? What are you doing?
No, it's
Uh,
not even a challenge. It's more like why are you not seeing through it?
yeah. Yeah. Like, again, not to fucking moralize, but I can't see why people put so much like I got Kofi Mania 100% because I think a big part of that too was WrestleMania 19 and being like, why don't you ever let a fully black superstar like just get the main event run, get the WWE Championship, get the goddamn ball. Yes, movement. I also understood because that broke through to the mainstream. Is there anything about Cody that's mainstream currently, by the way? I don't know if he's like broken through
Hmm.
the mainstream like other top guys. Cause I haven't seen it. So I'm genuinely asking. I'm genuinely asking. Cause like I know the Yes Memo is kind
You
of
know
taking over
what?
at sporting events, stuff
Let's
like that.
let's let's ask Google Trends.
Yeah.
Because I will say I never added him to the list of guys from yesterday.
No, I'd be very interested what the analytics would say about that. I mean, Becky Lynch for her run in 2018, I mean, that was massive. I just haven't seen the same thing happen with Cody though. I think he's only really successful within the wrestling business, which
I'm
is
gonna
fine.
remove Dwayne because I feel like he kind of skews it.
Right, right, right. No, but I mean,
Oh
being
yeah,
massive in
no,
the wrestling
Cody
business
is
itself.
is less relevant. He's between Roman Reigns, Dave Batista, John Cena, and Cody Rhodes. Cody is the least relevant of the four.
Damn.
Cena is the most with a score of 35. Roman is in
Yeah.
second at 17, then Batista at 11, then Cody at 7.
See, and I feel like what's most telling is just how outpaced Cody is relative to Roman. Because I could almost get Cena and Batista because of the acting careers that they've built up. But I mean, Roman really hasn't flexed that much in
I mean,
that way. Like he's kept it mostly in the
Roman is
business.
even outpacing Batista.
Yeah. Like, see that's your fucking guy right there. So when people are like, "Oh, I'm so sick of Roman's reign," this and that, like in a way, I get it because I've been there with title reigns that were successful. But if you're really looking at this as a business, dude, if Roman keeps pulling numbers like that, they could keep the title on him another 3 years, and they'd have a reason to justify it. Because at the end of the day, it's not our complaints that pay the bills. Kind of like what you were alluding to earlier. You can boo all you want, but if you're paying at the gate for the tickets you bought, and you're sitting in the seat and you're participating, well, they won like because their wallet's getting fat. Boo all you want. I'm going home. I got paid. So yeah, Roman's making bank. And I'm honestly happy for him. He's keeping his nose clean. He's an amazing top guy while being a heel, which just seems like unfucking heard of. But like he's crushing it.
Here's
And Cody again.
one that'll kind of fuck us both up. You know who in the WWE right now is even more relevant than John Cena?
Who?
Logan Paul.
Ooh, ooh. I'm not gonna take
Yep.
the claws out. We're having a nice substantive conversation.
I know. I looked it up.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the past 12 months. Just in the last 12 months. But yeah, man, Logan Paul is relevant. Very relevant.
Yeah. I mean,
And I will say
again,
too, if we narrow it down to just the last 12 months, Cody Rhodes does uh surpass Batista in relevance. So I will say that.
okay.
Which is impressive because I believe Guardians 3 has been in the last 12 months. So that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think Cody will get his rub. And I just, we need to wait for it to play out. Because here's the thing. Cody, unlike Kofi and Bryan before him when they got their movements, Cody to a T fits what WWE is looking for, especially right now. They need
Mhm.
like that quintessential white meat baby face that does all the good stuff and says all the right things to deflect from the shit show that they've got going on. Like Cody, see, dude, and I think that again to keep it civil and to not go into my John stuff where I'm just angry and old and bitter. But I think that's really what upsets me because when we look at again Kofi Mania and the Yes Movement, those guys were never going to be fucking picked if fans didn't rally behind him. I 100% believe that WWE was going to go ahead with Randy Batista. There was even a meme about it, like at one point where Triple H was telling the story almost like a fairy tale. And as kids were looking up and they're like, oh, come on, dad, even we don't believe that. Like that they had it planned the whole time that Brian was going to get the rub. Same thing with Kofi. I feel like that year was either going to be Ali if he didn't get injured, or maybe Kevin Owens in a singles match, which I mean, obviously, as a huge KO mark, I wouldn't have complained about. But Cody, I hate to use this word in almost like a wrestling context because I know the socio-political importance, but he is like the epitome of wrestling privilege, right? He comes from a wrestling family, he's a nepo baby, he's got the look, everything else, he's fine. He's fine. Just let the story play out.
Dude,
And
one of the
yeah,
trends on Twitter last night was poor Cody.
that ticked me off so much, dude. But like, I just kept my focus on Roman Rock. The only thing I tweeted about it was I believe that Roman should squash The Rock like the box office squashed Black Adam. That was
I
literally the
saw
only
that.
tweet I think
Yeah,
I
I
had.
saw that
Yeah,
tweet. That was great. That was
yeah.
a great tweet.
Telling you, bell should ring, spear, Rock's gasping for air. Roman knows it's not going to be enough. Another spear. What's funny, when I shared the Goldberg video, I forgot that he actually did throw his finger up before the jackhammer. And I'm like, oh my God, that's too perfect because that's like the whole acknowledge me thing. Roman should do the same thing, except maybe lock the Rock in a guillotine and he just passes out or some shit. That's your Mania main event. God, I'd love it because they had Drew beat Brock in 5 minutes, but there was nobody in the arena, so it made sense. Imagine you have a whole arena full of people and Rock gets squashed in five.
Dude,
Dude,
Rock just gets devastated by Roman's conditioning.
the cackling,
Oh,
the fucking cackling. I would cackle as hard as Agatha did when she killed Sparky too.
dude, it's
It'd be
funny too
great.
because it seems like low key
Ugh.
does feel to me like they're trying to make The Rock the heel here. It really does feel like that to me.
I mean, dude,
Because he just got a board seat and the internet knows it. And then he interjects and takes, is presented to have taken Cody's spot. And Cody's like the top baby face in the company. And like, now there are reports coming out that The Rock is basically pushing to win the title at Mania. Like, it really feels like they're trying really hard to make him out to be the heel here. Like, they're trying to get him booed. And it's
bro, if I'm
working because he just got booed at a house show tonight.
bro, if I'm Roman, I'm flexing and I'm like, you know what? You want to come into my house? Let's raise the stakes. Your board of directors seat for my championship, winner take all.
But for Paul, though, not for Roman.
Oh God, I don't know though, because Roman may want, and then he'd be like, "Now I can
Paul
defend
can
the title
advise
whenever I
him.
want."
He gets the board seat. Paul can be his advisor still. He's in the
There
same
you
spot
go.
he's been.
Because then Roman can be like, "Oh, you want a title match? I think I could pencil you in the next 2 years. Yeah, hit my music." You know what? I'd pop. I'd be for that. But no, man, Rock Roman, it's not a main event that gets me out of bed, but to be honest, I'm almost happy it's happening because, I mean, Schadenfreude, if I'm being completely truthful, just seeing all these Cody fans, they're like, no, it was our time. Your time was a lie. Even if Cody did get the rematch with Roman, I was going to make a ritualistic sacrifice and tell Jacob Fatu this was his moment and to come in and.
Amari made a great point in the chat that I've kind of been thinking the whole time as well. He said, a part of me feels like this whole Cody Rock Roman situation is a psyop to make Cody Rhodes more sympathetic and get him more over. And that is exactly what I'm thinking. That's why I said, is the WWE's thing. They did this shit with Daniel Bryan, man, back in 2014. They made it seem like he was not going to main event Mania. They made it like Batista won the Rumble even. They at least had Cody win the Rumble this year, but now they're making it look like he's just going to not use his Rumble win, which is hilarious.
Just wanted to win it because I felt like it. It's
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, just
guys.
bury the entire roster, no problem. And yeah, of course that pisses people off. Yeah, man,
God,
it's absurd. It's
and here I.
hilarious and absurd. And it's one of those things too where like in the universe where they really are just incompetent and this is all just last minute and they really are just going to have Cody be relegated to fucking Seth at Mania, I'm still going to laugh my ass off because it's Cody Rhodes getting bitched out and I live for that shit.
Yeah, and like I want to, because I feel like he's making great points, and I have to say, Foster, just thank you for your contributions because you and I are definitely on the same page. He more or less essentially said like, Cody willingly gave up his. But see, that's another thing I
See,
don't
but
think people are
that's
getting.
that's like the presentation of it, but the hardcore fans that are the most into Cody are the people who will see it as, oh my god, The Rock politicked his way into a WrestleMania main event.
Yeah, yeah.
And Cody has no choice but to go along with it.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah,
You know what?
in kayfabe terms, absolutely. Cody looks, yeah, like he
I'm
looks
glad that I
very
haven't been too
foolish.
immersed in it. Yeah, I'm glad I haven't been too immersed in it outside of our Discord because I'll tell you, bro, like if I was dealing with the barrage that you, Foster, and so many other people have dealt with today, I would already be sick of this and I would already just be thinking, like, I don't even want to touch this come WrestleMania. I just want to enjoy the undercard. I want to enjoy the women's championship matches because I think they're both going to be fire this year. I want to enjoy the attraction matches because I'm really hoping that we get Bianca Jade at Mania. That's what I was telling I was in a conversation with Javaris last night because he called me when SmackDown ended because he needed to talk to me about it. He's like, bro, like, what do you think about all this? And I told him, I said, bro, this is the WrestleMania of the undercard. Like, this is their fucking moment. Like the women's champions and Gunther and Logan Paul, even because I don't know if KO Mania is going to be, Kevin Owens and Logan. I don't know what they're thinking, as far as that goes. But I'm like, this is their time because people might be really behind Cody Seth for Cody, but I don't think they're really going to buy into Rock Roman. The casuals might, but the hardcores are going to be like, "Boo! That should be Cody's spot, boo!" And I'm like, you know what? Let's have an undercard fucking mania. Let them fucking flex. But even then, I worry like matches potentially like Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso, which I don't want to see. Man, if they really hoe Jey Uso, see that's a guy that deserves a fucking hashtag, not freaking Cody. Jay has been moving merch like crazy. He's had a great freaking 2023, and his 2024 has been solid. And it's like, okay, here's your twin. You beat him, and now nobody will ever ask again which one are you because they'll know it's you. I don't know. I don't know. There are a lot of guys that I feel
Honestly, do
bad
you want
for
to know
this
what
year.
the most disappointing thing about SmackDown was to me last night?
What's that, man? I'm curious.
We didn't get a Braun Breaker match.
I was, dude. Uh, well, you kind of broached Braun Breaker, so we can talk about it now. I'm just thinking he goes to Raw, bro. And this is kind of what was interesting to
Which
me
makes
about
sense
SmackDown.
because he's supposed to feud with Dominic Mysterio because he's supposed to be getting all of Brock, like all of the booking that Brock was supposed to be getting. And now Brock's out of creative plans, and Braun is just slotted into everything he was supposed to do, which was apparently supposed to be Dominic fucking Mysterio. Which, like, on what planet does WWE creative under Triple H think Brock Lesnar versus Dominic Mysterio is in any way believable?
Bro, you're correct, but if I could just add a log to that fire, in what world do they think it's believable that Dominic Mysterio eliminates Brock Lesnar? I don't see it because
How did
that's how
he?
it's
I
supposed to
forget. How
start.
did he eliminate Braun in the first place?
I think he just kind of like scooped him over when Braun's back was turned. Either that or he like clotheslined him out of nowhere or something.
See,
And I'm
yeah, I mean, he
like,
could have done that to Brock, but like, are we really meant to
but
believe
he,
that he would have a chance against Brock when they're facing each other, like head to head, and not with Brock's back
I mean,
turned?
obviously not. But I even have to push back on you being like, because like, I don't hate Dom by any means, but he's such a small man. Like,
He's
I don't
taller than his
believe it.
daddy.
Well, everybody is, man. That's not
That's
saying
true. He's
anything.
taller than Phineas.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, see, that's saying something. But I don't know, man. It just when I heard that that was originally supposed to be the plan, I thought that was utterly ridiculous. Braun, at least, it's more believable in the sense that like he's NXT and he's coming up, and he's just putting everything together. And like Dom, you're looking at a former tag team champion and shit, and he's been main roster. He didn't even do NXT, and a former two-time North American champion. So like whatever. But yeah, Braun's gonna smoke that dude. I'm hoping we get Braun Gunther. But what I really wanted to say about that is that I'm kind of liking. First of all, I love the GMs, as you know. I think I like Adam Pierce more now that he's playing off of somebody and not just running both shows. And you already know I love Nick Aldis. But I'm really loving the identity seemingly of these shows because Raw is getting these really solid mid to upper mid carders. They got Andrade. I think they're going to get Braun. But I think SmackDown's going to get Jade. And that's fascinating to me because when you look at the SmackDown analytics, because I know DBK, especially, I want to shout out DBK, is always so good about posting wrestling news and you as well, like in talking about it and stuff. Damage Control specifically is a big draw for SmackDown. And I'm thinking if they position Jade right, she could be a draw for SmackDown too. And I love that SmackDown really does seem to be becoming the show of like the main women attractions and the main event women, and like we're gonna trust the women to get the numbers for us. I'm actually really curious in the coming weeks the kind of business that Io and Bailey will do for Fox as far as viewership and stuff goes. But I think Jade is a real get for them. So I'm glad that SmackDown's more the identity of leaning into like main event caliber women's wrestling. That's really cool to me. I don't know if that's an experiment that they feel they're committed to, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. But then I'm also a bit tentative because on one hand you've got Naomi and she's fucking awesome, but on the other hand you've got Tiffany Stratton and she
Beat
exists.
Mia Yim last night. Ew.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
Oh, she wronged Mia Yim and then beat her anyway. Oh,
Slacks isn't gonna be happy about that.
I'm not
He's
happy
gonna
about that, and I don't even wear slacks.
I know, that's how you know it's bad. Oh, god damn, man. God damn. I mean, I don't hate Tiffany, but did we really need to call her up? I actually thought she could have done a bit more with Fallon Henley, to be honest. I feel like this call up was way premature, personally. But it was like,
I mean,
no.
yeah, she already botched last night with Mia.
Yeah. Yeah. You are not going to get the return on that investment that I think you're hoping to get. Wow. Abel said Dom Dom would have cooked Brock, so Brock is lucky. Oh, Abel. God, you're perfect. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I'm enjoying the fresh meat coming up. I'm enjoying the GMs actively vying for them. Like that's another thing too about the Braun segment. Braun was a great I won't say prop, that's very dehumanizing, but a great figure, I guess, to bring in to really emphasize the war between Pierce and Aldis.
Yeah.
Because Pierce came in and he's like, oh, Braun, I wouldn't sign that deal. We haven't talked yet. I was just like, bro, you got Andrade. What the fuck? Like, no, I was supposed to get Braun. Yeah, that's not happening. So that was really cool. Yeah, I enjoyed SmackDown for the most part last night, but let's take a breath, get ourselves together. Is there anything else you want to say about The Rock, Cody, and all that stuff?
No, I think we've said our piece finally.
Oh, I will just say one more thing about Roman, just to emphasize, because I'm sure we'll circle back to it. You weren't kidding about that promo, man. Because when SmackDown ended, I actually pulled it up
Mm.
like on a third party site. Man, man, Seth Rollins,
Scorched
exactly,
fucking
no
earth.
pop.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, it's true though. He said Seth Rollins and they didn't react. Oh my god.
Dude, this whole storyline's gonna give Seth a fucking complex. Cause even us on this podcast, we've been using the word relegate, and like there's definitely a connotation there, right? And if Seth were to hear it, his eye would twitch. My
You
title
know what?
isn't a
Good though.
relegation.
Good though. If Seth develops a complex enough that he realizes that he has settled for the lesser title, maybe he will get, some extra sand in his pants and decide to gather up the courage to go try and beat Roman again. Take another shot at number one.
God, you rationalizing why giving somebody else a complex is a good thing. I don't know if I've ever been prouder of you in my life. That was hot. That was hot. All right.
No, no, but seriously though, Roman's whole promo was absolute fire, and he didn't tell a single lie.
Abel coming in with Seth Rollins is a solid B plus player. That's a good little spot for him. Abel, hug me right now. Get on a plane, come over here. We'll put the fire on overdrive and hug me right now, you beautiful bastard. God damn it. Yeah, Foster, I know you love the Wolf Dogs, but the sooner that
Oh.
Braun gets away from Caillou, the better it is for all of us.
Can I also just say, I don't even know if that was my favorite line in Roman's promo. Like,
Yeah.
the can we start calling that title the loser bracket title? I think might have taken it for me.
Yeah.
Because it really is. Like, literally, they invented that title because nobody could beat Roman, and everyone that has been competing for it since it was invented has been people that have lost to Roman.
Yeah.
It is literally the loser bracket title. I love that.
I think I'm finally at that age in my wrestling fandom where I just enjoy watching people see that the top guy's success. No, Roman Reigns held the title too long. He cuts a masterclass promo like that. No, and I'm just like, oh God, yes.
Hurting everyone.
God damn it. Oh God. Oh god, yeah, where he mocked how Seth walks, this top
Is
guy
this how
walk
a
like
workhorse walks?
this. God, Roman made being a piece of shit classy again, and I'm here for it. God damn it.
Oh my god, he always talks about carrying that brand. He broke his back 3 months into trying to carry
And bro, you already know that,
that.
like, I love the WWE Championship, like the latest design, and it's so rare because obviously the spinner belt that was Cena's gimmick. That was the Cena title.
Mm-hmm.
That title doesn't even necessarily like correlate to any gimmick. It's just a really beautiful championship. But Roman really has made it his fucking title. The way he carries himself, dude.
Yeah.
God damn,
Yep.
man.
He's the man.
Like,
He is the man.
I don't blame Cody for forfeiting his title shot. I wouldn't want to face Roman
He
again
saw
either.
Roman cut that fire promo and eviscerate Seth. He was just like, you know what? I don't want none of that smoke. I'm out.
Cody's like, I'm sorry, Dad. And he had that little lip quiver going before he walked
The
out.
chin quiver. The chin quiver.
Yeah. I guess wrestling only will have one royal family, the Roman
The
family.
Anoa'i family.
Yeah. Oh my god, you know the WWE programming's been good when fucking Foster, who, God, I mean, it's well documented how much I adore his face, is like, Roman and Drew are making me contemplate turning heel myself. I know this is really shitty of me to do, but do it. Betray all of your values and show us how villainous you can be. I'm here for it. Start with Ashton. He still has a conscience. If you do it on him, it'll be a good litmus test.
You
All
wouldn't do
right.
that to me, would you, Foster?
Oh no, Foster I think respects you too much, and you love him too much. Nothing's gonna happen except hugs, probably.
Hugs would be
All right.
nice. I like hugs. I've
Oh,
been
you know what?
told by almost everyone in my life that I've ever given a hug to that I give incredible hugs.
You know what? I believe it. You're so pure and wholesome. Yeah. Let's. That was so adorable. I'm ready to move on. Let's. Wow, that actually showed a spike in viewership. We're up to 15 people watching, and it's like, oh, I like hugs too. This seems like my kind of program.
Clearly, they're ready for us to talk about the former hugger Bailey.
Yes. God, I love that we're just like not giving a fuck about AEW right now because we're talking about more important and interesting things. I have a lot to say about this, but I want you to go first because I know you're a huge fan of EO. We're all huge fans of Bailey, I feel like. And to be fair, we're all fans of EO too. I just know you're again, massive EO fan. What did you think about this segment last night? And really the backstage segment leading up to this, where they're all kind of laughing at Bailey, and EO's like, "Oh, tonight she's done." And they laugh about it, and then Bailey's like, "Oh, why?" I know what I have to do. So what do you think about all this?
She knew the whole time. She picked up on their Japanese, man. She picked up on it. She said it. She said it back to him.
God, the look on Io's face, she was like, "Oh no, my language can be learned."
I think that what she
Particularly,
said was "watashi wakari no" or something like that,
yeah.
and which basically just means "I understand." So she literally
Oh.
sold them "I understand" in Japanese, and then she's like, "Yeah, that's Japanese."
Yeah. Dude, I love that part too, because that's such me energy.
I think that wasn't for them. They fucking knew that it was Japanese. They heard it and they understand the language. That was for us. That was for the audience. That was for the ignorant. That was for the hopelessly monolingual.
So me.
Yes, you and my mom and like the casual, the people who aren't like me trying desperately to learn the language so that I can better understand promos.
Javaris made a great point too, because I've watched this promo several times. Adam Pierce was low key underrated in this segment because the
Oh
faces
shit, I
when
haven't
Bailey was
even paid
letting them.
attention to his face. I was too busy watching Bailey and Io.
Yeah, dude, you should go back real quick while I'm kind of giving my thoughts here and just look at Pierce's face because he sells it, man. He really does. Like when Bailey is dropping those truth bombs, he's like, "Oh shit, Bailey's letting him know." Like it was like he was at a taping of Jerry Springer or Maury or something, and he was just selling all the drama. I loved it. I loved it. I wish we could have gotten more of a look at Aldous' face, but I think Aldous kind of had a smirk of like, this bodes well for me. And so I loved it.
Okay, I'm
God.
seeing Pierce's reactions now. He really does. He really does have that look. Oh my god, that's so funny. Holy shit. That's amazing.
Bro, I don't even know where to begin with this fucking masterclass. First and foremost, it was great after seemingly so long to hear Bailey cut a fire promo like this,
Yeah,
like
bro.
that had that babyface fire.
Yeah, that I'm sorry, that Adam Pierce reaction is the look of someone who is friends with two people who don't like each other, but they get along with each other because of the common friend, and then one day one of them just decides to use all of the ammunition that the common friend has told them about the other on the other, and it just goes off.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They just turn to him and they're just like, "Oh, you really want to bring that to the table? Why don't we talk about what happened with your ex?" And that's the dude in the background reacting like, "Oh shit."
Oh my god,
That's Adam
dude.
Pierce's reaction. It's so good.
So
Uh,
so yeah, I really
Look to Alex
appreciated that.
Foster in chat. Maybe Pierce taught Bailey Japanese.
What a fucking twist that would be. But,
Nah, I'm sure
no,
Bailey
Bailey.
Bailey did her own independent research.
Yes. Bailey cutting a promo like this, though, I
Yeah,
feel like it's been so long since she's been able to show that fire. I loved it. I loved how she talked about, you could go for a championship, but sometimes it's more important than that. Sometimes
personal.
it's personal.
Yep.
And God, the way she sold it, the way she talked about the magic of WrestleMania, I'm like, wow, this isn't just like Bailey the character. This is Bailey the lifelong wrestling fan. And I almost feel like the lifelong wrestling fan, that was who was hurt the most because she acknowledged she didn't get there alone. And she really looked at, particularly Io and Dakota. We'll get to Dakota in a second, believe me. And she's like, you were my sisters. And like, she didn't say I love you explicitly, but her body
Dude,
language and just her
you
emotion.
could
Yeah.
hear her choke up a little bit even. She had that little tinge in her voice, like you could hear the knot in her throat at one point. She's so good.
I just wanted Damage Control to be the best. And there was like a little crack in Bez. And it's like, oh my God. Like, you've hurt her. You've really hurt her beyond just the stomps and stuff. And then I love, because look, hey, Javaris, let's call a spade, bruh. We were wrong. Because Bailey, I love too that Bailey kind of she acknowledged this on Raw, just kind of crisscross because, when she won the Rumble, she was kind of like, she was like, oh, people are saying Bailey's lost step or she hasn't won any of her matches. But she reminds people in that promo, and particularly she reminds Io and Kabuki Warriors, Kairi and Asuka, I've been in WWE for fucking ever. Like, who do you think I am? And I love that because I think it's also a reminder to us. Like, you
Yep.
say that I'm Bailey. No, I'm Bailey.
Yeah.
Put the emphasis on my fucking name after
Yep.
everything I've
Put
done.
some
You really think I'm going
respect
to
on it.
put some respect on it? I'm a Grand Slam champion. I've literally done everything there is to
Everything.
do in this goddamn
Yep.
company. Like, I'm not an idiot. Stop treating me like an idiot. And I'll be the first one to apologize to Bailey the character. I am sorry. I was a part of it. I was a part of the problem. And you know what? She reminded me who she is. And she reminded me who she is to the point where I remember when I was at the height of my Bailey fandom, and I had said, and this was like a few years ago now, but like she should main event a Mania. She should main event a Mania. And the Bailey that I saw in this promo, I said, she should main event Mania. Because I even said in the Discord today, and Cliff even added on, or a better story, and that's true. You're not going to get a better dance partner wrestling wise than Io fucking Sky. She's one of the best wrestlers in the fucking world. If those two do not main event Mania, if you are a Bailey fan, I hate to be cynical. I hate to be hyperbolic because I've really not been in the mood for hyperbole today, given everything. But I'd be hard pressed to believe that Bailey would ever get as good a shot to main event Mania. I will put it that way. I won't say it won't ever happen. I don't want to deal in absolutes, but this is the best shot she's ever fucking had. And these two killed it. I mean, Kabuki Warriors taking because Io. What I loved about Io's body language because she's so good at the faces and she's so good at the body language when
Yep.
she doesn't have a strong command of English. You could see on her face like to me, it was a mixture of fear and like obviously she feigned it because she gained her confidence back the moment that like Kyrie and Asuka attacked. But there was like in her face, like maybe like a little bit of guilt and like a little bit of regret, like, oh, like Bailey, just let me explain, like, oh, I'm sorry. And then like when she got the upper hand again, it's like, aha, fuck you, like I'm the champion. Like, so I loved her face in this. Um, and yeah, like, and then Bailey goes for the pipe, which I thought was genius.
Yeah. Shows that she knew ahead of time that she might need it.
Exactly, because she heard the conversation backstage, so she was
Yep.
prepared. And then the image that has been circulating throughout Twitter, she goes to hit Io, she stops, and Io goes to hit her with the title, and they just stare at each other. And that stare is
Because it's
everything.
one of those things though where like Heidi and Asuka have never had any respect for Bailey. Io definitely at least at one point did, if not still does.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, because here's the thing. I know Io. And this is where I guess we thought that maybe Bailey would turn on Io, but then yeah, like as longtime fans, like Chrissy, who I love on Twitter, shout out to Chrissy at Damage Controller, I believe it is. You know, Bailey super fan. It was kind of similar with the Sasha stuff, where she, well, not the most recent thing, but in an earlier story between her and Sasha, where she did genuinely want to help, and it was the other way around. She did genuinely want to help Io. I'll never forget when she helped her retain the title that one time, and Io kind of looked at Bailey like, Bailey, did you? Oh, Bailey, thank you. And she hugged her like my heart melted. They really sold me on Damage Control being a family, man. Like I did feel
And you know
something.
what I think
Like,
it was? I think Io's
yeah.
head just got too big. I think that she felt threatened by Bailey. I don't know if you saw this. Mark pointed this out, but literally the day before the Saudi show that Kaidi showed up for, Bailey teased, "Oh man, you've beaten everyone on the roster. Next thing you know, I'm gonna have to be your next challenger for that title."
Io did not like that at all because I did see that clip and shout out to Mark for providing that context because I completely forgot that happened.
Yeah, and then literally the
Yeah.
next day, Kaidi showed up, and then the next SmackDown, Asuka joined the team.
Yeah. Io put the kibosh on that real
Yeah,
quick, which tells you like,
Io like
yeah.
double extra majorly reinforced herself as champion almost immediately when Bailey said that shit. And that was basically the beginning of the end for Bailey as the leader of Damage Control because Io's been calling the shots ever since. And she's been doing it through Dakota. And that's why this whole situation with Bailey being in the Rumble and them wanting her to win the Rumble so she could basically get the fuck out of their hair and go after Rio on Raw has been in place.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought up Dakota because that gives us a more organic segue. Girl, girl, who are you lying to? Let's talk about
She's
Dakota
gonna
for a
be
second.
the Momo.
Yeah, as when the segment ended, like an hour after the segment ended, she tweeted, "Yo, what the fuck is going on?" Heartbreaking. Like you don't know, bitch. Like you haven't been facilitating it for the past like what 2 months? It feels like you know what's
No, she's
happening.
gonna play innocent and she's gonna pretend like she didn't know what was going on and she's gonna sucker Io or she's gonna sucker in Bailey one more time. We're gonna get a tag team match. They're gonna challenge for the tag titles and Dakota's gonna betray her just like Momo.
I'm not gonna hold it against the booking or the Bailey character if she does get suckered in because I could see how
Because she
because
needs
Dakota was a
friends
part of
at
the
this point. She needs to be able to believe in anyone at this point.
well, here's the thing, and where Dakota gets away with it is she was an OG. Because remember what Bailey said
Yeah.
to Io specifically. Ever since those two, meaning Kylie and
Yep.
Asuka, came
Yep.
along, you turned your back on me. So she's not thinking about Dakota a certain way. So they've already kind
Mm-hmm.
of framed it where Bailey kind of implicitly sees Dakota. So I can forgive it. But Bailey, honey, like we're all on the same. We love you. I've seen more people call you mother in the past 24 hours than I've seen them call you mother all year.
Really?
We want the, oh yeah.
Wait,
Like, oh my God.
why?
Like I'm seeing the Bailey fandom come out in full force for her getting this moment. We love that for you, Bailey. And truthfully, as a person, as a character, you deserve it. I'm begging you to go back and watch NXT. Because if you do,
Dude,
you'll know what's coming.
Dakota's
Like,
guy, her lust for power is never ending, man. She will turn on anyone.
now look, do I personally find that lust for power immensely attractive?
Yeah,
Of course I do.
yeah.
Of course I do. But do I want it to happen to Bailey specifically? Not anymore.
Not
Because
anymore.
now because now Bailey's like, "Oh my god, we're getting babyface Bailey again, and I miss this so much." And yeah, just Bailey. You don't even have to watch NXT because I forgot. Like Raquel and Tegan, they have jobs on the main roster. Pull them aside, be like, "Hey, so
Oh
Dakota,
my
she's
god,
cool,
yeah.
right?"
I forgot that she betrayed Raquel. I thought it was the other way around, but no, she did. Raquel was the baby face coming out of that feud. Fuck.
Yeah, and then Tegan, because I think she kind of mended things with Dakota. She'd be like,
Didn't she
watch
betray
your bag,
Tegan
baby."
twice?
oh my god, she might have actually. So Tegan would be like, no, she's not shiny at all. And Raquel would be like, man, fuck that puta. Just watch your back, Bailey. Oh, but yeah, no, I'm loving this story. Uh, and yeah, I even like Mark said no, so I actually want to get your opinion on this, man, because we know Kabuki Warriors are defending against Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, women's tag titles on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think Bailey kind of interferes and costs them the titles, or do we think Kabuki Warriors are taking those titles to Mania, maybe to drop them even to Shayna and Zoe,
They
possibly?
fucking better take those titles to Mania, but I don't know why they need to drop them.
I'm just saying for like Bailey to like stick it to this new damage control that like because she blames them for Eop turning on her. So like maybe Bailey wants to fuck with them a little bit now that it's all kind of made official.
I mean,
That's the
you
only
know what?
yeah.
I hope not. This is like a hope for the best kind of thing. I really hope not. I hope that they're allowed to hold those titles for longer because, frankly, Kaden and Katana do less than nothing for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I really would love it if we could get the Bailey and Dakota challenging for the tag titles match at Chamber. That would be fucking legendary. Especially because Dakota would get a big moment at the betrayal. Are you kidding me? In Australia? I know she's not from Australia, but close enough, right? It's like it's connected to New Zealand. Come on.
I mean, you said my favorite word, so I gotta say it. Betrayal. And it would be delicious. God.
I
Fuck.
really, really want Bailey and Dakota versus the Kabuki Warriors for the tag titles to happen at Chamber. Like that does so much for me.
Dakota Nande just to show that Bailey still knows Japanese.
See, yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's literally Io making Queen's Quest all over again because the Kabuki Warriors are the Hazuki of this situation. Io is the Mayu, or Bailey is the Mayu, and yeah, Dakota is going to be the Momo.
But
I
see,
guess
Io
I
so
guess
just
since we've got 2 for 1 in both Kabuki Warriors representing Hazuki by herself, Bailey is also kind of representing two people because she's going to be representing both Mayu and no wait. No, it was Mayu that Momo teamed with, actually. Oh my god, they
yeah.
really did Mayu so dirty. Holy shit. They're
They
going to do it
really
to Bailey too, though. It's going to be glorious. Because, yeah, the way that, for those of you who don't follow Stardom, Queen's Quest is one of the factions in Stardom, and it has been around for 7+ years at this point. It's one of the OG factions of Stardom. Io started this faction. And the way that she started it was she was tag team champions with Mayu. And in a tag title match, she betrayed Mayu, turned on her, and introduced a girl who had been out for a few months with an injury in her return as her new faction mate after the match was over. And then on the next show, it was Io and her new partner versus Mayu and another girl who also betrayed Mayu to join Io's faction. And I
yeah.
think that's what's going to happen here. I think Dakota and Bailey are going to challenge for the tag titles at Chamber. And Dakota's going to betray Bailey and join up with the Joshis. It's going to be glorious. But
Dakota
then Bailey is
Nande.
going to get the last laugh because she's going to take from Io what she wants the most, and that's the world title.
We'll see about that. That I'm still holding off on predictions, but when Bailey's asking Dakota why, I would just love for Dakota to be like Queen's Quest, and Bailey just be like, What? Pick! I'm gonna just beat the crap out of her. I don't understand, but I think Bailey watches Stardom. You know, Bailey, you're plugged in. But yeah, this match is gonna fucking slap, bro. Like I even said on Twitter actually about this match that I feel like this could be the best women's Mania match since Sasha Bianca. Like I have a lot riding on this emotionally. I'm very invested because I've always been kind of that. See, it's funny for me because this is something I don't really talk about much, mainly because if I'm honest, Bailey kind of worked me too when she was calling out people that are like, "Oh, you've slowed down, you've lost all your matches." Like, I definitely cooled off on Bailey a bit during that period. But when she was having
Bro,
her historic SmackDown, yeah,
she was literally my jobber of the year 2023.
yeah. But when she was having her historic SmackDown Women's Title reign, like I've always preferred even her in ring work, low key, even to Sasha to a degree. Like I think Bailey for a long time has been my favorite horsewoman,
I mean,
and
Bailey
like
and
yeah,
Sasha's Hell in a Cell match is my best women's Hell in a Cell match of all time.
yeah, like I think Bailey is fantastic. I still think to a degree, despite doing literally everything in the company, she is underrated relative to the other horsewomen. Um, and just the idea that she gets to work with Io, one of the best just wrestlers in general in the world, who's really been cooking again and who really feels like fucking Io right now. And that's amazing to see for a WWE audience. But I'll give credit to Raw because if you were going to compete with that match, I mean, Rhea Becky is your best shot. And I still think that's what they're 100% committed to. And I already told you, bro, that Becky's promo to Rhea a few weeks ago, that alone sold me. I was talking with Cliff. I've never really been sold with Becky in ring. I'd give her maybe a 7.5. Cliff kind of challenged me on that. He said maybe in 2021, but now I'd put her to an 8.5. I don't know about that. But I think as a promo and as like just on that performer level, Becky is fucking elite. And who even cares because she's a better wrestler than Charlotte to me. And Rhea gave Charlotte some of the best matches of her fucking career. So imagine what Rhea can do with somebody that can actually work. So like they're gonna
I would
eat.
love to know what matches Becky has had since 2021 that makes Cliff that she's gone up a full point in the ring.
Well, I think what he specified to me in the Discord was like, oh, she got a good match out of Xia Li. Now I did not see that match, so I can't say one way or the other. But I
When
think
did
he's
she
saying
have
like
a good match against Xia Li?
I don't know. He didn't give a date or whatever. And again, I'm not going to comment because I haven't seen it. But I think in his mind, like, you're a good worker if you can do all of your stuff well. You're a great worker if you can even bring out the best in somebody else or make somebody else look good, which is why I give Rhea so much credit because we know she made Charlotte look a lot better than she actually is. Um, and so, yeah, like I think those two are really going to eat at Mania. I do think from an in-ring standpoint, I think Bailey Io is the superior matchup, but Rhea's going to be eating just fine at Mania too. It's a great time for women's wrestling, man. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. Um, phew. What else do we want to talk about here? Because I know I don't even know if we want to talk much about. Well, no, we
Do we
agreed on
want to talk
doing
about the tag title situation, the tag title contenders, the little
Oh
tournament we did?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Because we got I mean we low key got bruiserweights. I mean Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I don't know if that's what they're calling themselves, but they won the SmackDown multi-tag match. Gotta say too, man, I'm loving LDF versus LWO. I am vibing hard with that freaking feud. I love the Santos video package. He was so fucking classy in that restaurant. I mean, God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, you know what? I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to indulge me. Could you just can you just do the thing? Because I oh.
Santos
Now
Escobar.
now imagine if that man invited you out to dinner. Like
I don't need to
uh,
imagine.
yeah, I can't.
We watched it last night. It was amazing.
That it was amazing.
I
I'm
was
just saying
living
that
vicariously through them.
I know it kind of hurts in a way because I'm like, God, Daddy, let that be me. But at the same time, it's like I understand. Like I'm willing to take out Oscar. I'm probably a little too enthused about taking out Oscar,
I bet
but
you
I
you're taller
understand.
than Oscar.
Oh, well, I mean, again, who isn't? But yeah, just like if he would have been like, John, I mean, me at this restaurant, we're going to talk about how to deal with the Rey Mysterio. I'd be like, Santos, I will go poor for you just to buy a suit that's worthy of being in your presence. God damn,
So
what a
you'll
fucking
stay at the
king.
same financial level for him.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm doing relatively okay. I would put myself in debt for him. I'll put it that way because I have no debt right now, so I could say that much.
That's
So
nice.
I'd put myself in
There are
debt
a
for
lot of
Santos.
people that look middle class on the surface who are actually poorer than either one of us because of their debt.
Yeah, that's so true and really sad. God, I hate this country. But yeah, Santos is a fucking king. I'm loving. Really, I got to give credit to both Raw and SmackDown on that front too, because SmackDown has LDF versus LWO, and Raw has New Day versus Imperium. And I think both feuds have been fucking cooking. Like, and they're undercard fucking tag feuds, and it's like, damn, like, way to have other things that aren't championships or whatever actually matter. If I'm being completely sincere, because we could have a whole podcast on me just dogging on Oscar the whole time. I am actually excited for Ray to come back too, so that we can get back on track with him versus Santos, so it could really feel like a complete feud. But I'll give WWE credit again and say that they're buying him all the time he could possibly need because now we've got Elektra in the mix, and she's mixing it up with fucking Zelina. So
Dude,
they're
I love that Elektra is in the mix, and I love that she and Zelina work well together. That's both just excellent.
dude, they are doing great. They yeah, I'm
I
so
also
proud
just
of
want to add, by the way,
Yes.
We do know who the tag teams are going to be that are competing on Monday.
Oh, who are they, man? Let's talk about it.
DIY,
Ew.
the Creed Bros,
Okay.
the New Day, and Imperium.
I just think DIY's taking it personally. It's got to come down to DIY or the Creeds.
That's pretty much what I thought as well. I thought DIY as well because it's Triple H and he wants to have NXT Black and Gold bullshit, and DIY versus Dunn and Bate feels very NXT Black and Gold to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so that was tag title stuff. I know for this show we said that we were going to do preview predictions for Takeover Vengeance Day, but that'll come in a little bit because I was thinking about NXT, but I know we're going to forego that in favor of premium predictions. So in the meantime, before that happens, anything else on SmackDown felt like it went by so fast. I feel like we canvassed all the important stuff on
I
SmackDown
even
already.
said last night, yeah, those 2 hours felt like 45 minutes. It was really good.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Owens had a really solid matchup with Austin Theory. I wish Kevin Owens would go home, and tend to that fractured foot. Like, I mean,
I
King.
wish Austin Theory would go home just for the sake of my mental health.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also really true. Welcome, Cliff. Actually, you just missed us talking about the women's matches, so it's funny that you show up now when we kind of close the book on that discourse. So yeah, I think that covers it for SmackDown. And then as far as Raw goes, bro, I mean, really not much to talk about there because I mean, one of the big things was Seth's promo to Cody, but that's kind of
That was
irrelevant.
so bad.
Given,
That was so bad. That annoyed me, dude. That was so annoying.
yeah,
Oh, Sethington. Bro, it's funny that people are on Roman's head for burying Seth in the world title. Seth really tried to bury Roman in that title.
yeah,
Roman's just too good to allow it.
yeah. Like, why are you trying to
Seth
bury
really
literally
said,
the
"You
company
really want
title,
the
Seth?
Hollywood title, the title that you have to politic your way into." Like, this fucking dude.
Oh God, we want Cody is still trending for me. Jesus
Oh yeah,
Christ, it's never gonna end.
it'll
And
end
then and then
when
the
things
whoa
change.
movement. God. Um, yes. So yeah, I mean that promo's kind of irrelevant now given the developments on SmackDown, but I can understand why you hated that promo. I didn't hate it at the time, but then, when people were like, that's kind of messed up, isn't it? I mean, that's the WWE championship that he's going out of his way to bear. I'm like, you know what? You're cooking right now. You're all cooking right now. I hear you. I see it. Um, I can't even really think about it. Oh, well, I mean, R-Truth. So we know that they're kind of moving forward with Awesome Truth, I guess, potentially challenging Judgment Day down the line.
I mean, it would have to be at WrestleMania because they're not even involved in the match to try and challenge for Chamber.
Yeah. So I'm guessing Chamber is just going to be another retention.
Yep.
I wonder if Champ is going to turn on Gargano at Chamber because they failed twice.
Oh my god.
This is my moment. Wait, this is too familiar. No. Just fucking do that bullshit. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I'm sad that Truth is out of Judgment Day. And I feel like they kind of rushed it a little bit for my liking. I feel like you could have let this breathe a little more. I feel like you could have done interesting things. Like I'm conflicted because I know me and Sean and a few other people in the Discord do have fun at the character of Priest and how easily he wilts from a challenge when like he's thinking about cashing in. But Priest, the man, seems like a solid dude. I've been really happy with his work. I mean, my God, I mean the Bad Bunny Backlash matchup. I feel like he's just been building on that ever since.
Yeah.
To his credit, but I wouldn't mind if he successfully cashed in because I do think he could be a solid world champion. And I know they want so badly for the Judgment Day to be the bloodline, but like not one of you equals one Roman Reigns. Even all of you collectively, I don't
Bro,
think equal
do
Roman
any
Reigns.
of them even equal one main event Jey Uso?
I mean, well, he's not in the bloodline anymore, unfortunately. But if we were talking about
I thought we
OG
were just
bloodline,
talking
no.
about like the bloodline when it was the bloodline.
Yeah, no,
Because even
no.
the bloodline now isn't really the bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no. Judgment Day is like, I don't know, man. They're cooked. I don't. When you have JD McDonough in your faction, come on,
Oh, you
man.
keep reminding us.
They keep reminding you by putting him on television. Don't put this on me.
Listen, man. One of my absolute favorite coping mechanisms for bad television is to just pretend it's not real. And you keep preventing me from doing that.
You know what? I respect deflection. I do. But like, it's out there now. We're talking about it. So yeah, when you have JD McDonough and fucking Dominic Mysterio in your faction, are
You
you
know,
serious?
sometimes there's one meme too many.
Yeah, exactly. Super Blue laughing, Priest a world champion. Yeah, yeah, because LA Knight did so well in that fatal four way. Um, yeah, and I would agree with Javaris. The funny thing is, the closest person to Roman is Rhea, and like saying the gap is massive. Yeah, you're probably right. I do think Rhea is hella over though, Javaris. Like she easily gets the best reactions out of anybody in Judgment Day. Hell, like she came out to interrupt damage control, and she got a really nice reaction.
If
And if
Rhea
she's gonna
was
be,
allowed to be as likable as Roman, I think that she would be on his level.
I agree.
The
I agree with that.
problem is
I
that
don't see. Yeah,
she is pretty much forced to stay as heelish as possible. Like she does all the mommy stuff, but like she's still aligned with Dom. She's really really good at just straight up being a heel, whereas Roman still panders and Rhea does not. The
yeah,
most pandery thing that Rhea does is wear low cut tops. Like
yeah,
that's really the extent of it.
bro. I'm telling you, if they ever let her run, because I've already told you the segment where Judgment Day starts to disintegrate, but she comes out as the baby face and like she hits. I'm telling you, one Riptide on Dominic to break up their on-screen relationship, that arena is gonna explode. And like I really could see her, and that's why it's so fitting that her match will most likely be with Becky, because I could see her having a similar success to Becky when she's really allowed to run and the chains are broken. But until then, she's she's got the momentum, she's got the heat, in a positive way. But it's just, yeah, it's Roman's world, and we're all living in it. So yeah, Truth got excommunicated, but Truth, you know what? I keep forgetting to add this to my funniest moment of the year. But like Truth even left us with some laughs because he's like, "That's what I'm saying. We're a family." Priest, you're like my older brother, man. And Priest deadpan is just like, "You're older than me." He just looked at you like, "You're older than me."
By like a decade plus too.
Dude, it's so good. Fuck.
Priest is what, like 40?
Yeah, I think that's right. He should be 40, right?
41. He's 41, and I think Truth is 52.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God damn.
yeah. Truth was born in 1972. He was born January 19th of 1972.
God damn, bro.
This man is a middle Gen Xer, and and I think technically Priest is like an older millennial.
Yeah,
Oh
like,
no, actually Priest is a young Gen Xer. He is a young Gen Xer.
but you know what though? Still huge ups to Truth, because being 52 and still being this entertaining and this endearing and just so good. Like, god damn.
He just gets it,
I
man.
He does, man. He really does. He really, really does. And so I'm happy that he got to be a part of this. I feel like he could have even done more with these guys, and I feel like that WWE didn't really fully appreciate what they had here. I even have to wonder, because it was alleged that Damian Priest was the one that pushed for this. So even kudos to Priest for kind of asserting himself and being like, "Hey, Bloodline had Sammy, can we have Truth?" I feel like we could do something similar. And I was really starting to get into it. I really thought that they could have played up the moral conflict with Truth, of like, could I really betray Miz? Could I really attack him? Whatever. I don't think they did nearly enough, but what they did do made me laugh every single time. And I think that says something. So he's officially out of the Judgment Day. And God, then they did a Raw talk with JD where he's like, he brings back like the edge to Judgment Day and the dark side that they needed. And I'm like, dude, look at yourself. Like, what? God.
You know
Um,
who really will bring the edge back to Judgment Day?
are you gonna say Edge?
I was gonna say nobody because Copeland's in AEW.
Yeah, okay, that's even better, honestly. Let's talk about Drusev. And
Oh
how
my god, his promo on Monday had me rolling. His heel work, both on TV and on social media this week, has been pristine.
to tell a man at the
To
lowest
his
point in
face.
to his face at the lowest point of his life, "I'm so happy to see you this way because I prayed for this." I How long have we been doing this podcast now? Like, what, 12 years? It feels like 10 years at the very least.
12,
Like,
12 years, yeah, 12 years in a couple months.
yeah, like, Drew, I'm speaking to you from the heart right now. For 12 years, all I've wanted is to just fucking love douchebags, and for douchebags to just be lovable again. You did it.
Drew does it. Yes.
You and your thick fucking cuts of meat, you did it. You
Thick
fucking
cuts of
mountain of a
meat.
man. Like, God, I when I tell you people, and I'm gonna use this language because Cliff used it in our chat, and it's good. When I tell you people the chub that I fucking got watching this, I'm like, what's happening? He's being shitty to that washed up old man. That's amazing. Like this, the way Drew treated Punk is the way all of us should be treating our Congress. Like when fucking Mitch McConnell was having those little mini strokes, I wish I could have pulled
Prayed
the
for
Drew and I should have
this.
been like, Mitch, I prayed for this. Like,
You know what almost makes it even funnier though is that I think that we are like, isn't it publicly known that CM Punk is atheist too?
yeah, dude, yes.
So Drew telling him to his face that he prayed for it, and Punk just looks at him like, that means nothing. And then Drew's just like, but it worked, didn't it?
Drew just leans in real close. Doesn't it though?
Doesn't it though? And then of course Drew posted the fucking picture of the fucking Barry Allen picture of him holding up the peace sign in front of the grave, and it was CM Punk's WrestleMania main event.
And then he posted the workout video tricep day.
Tricep day. He's so sweet to his cat though.
Which is why, like, look, because Drew gave me what I've wanted literally this whole fucking time. I'm gonna give Drew something. I'm gonna give him myself to defend him from the bullets. The man was good to his cat, therefore he's in the right. I'm a cat owner. I know what I'm talking about. I'm 95% in the toxoplasmosis, people. Like, what more do you want? You really want him to be good to Felonious. Felonious. Uh-uh. That's not gonna fucking happen. Uh-uh. I am when I tell you that not only was I so happy to see him fail, because it was, to use the authority line, it was best for business. I remember those hard camera shots at Rumble where he was leaning over the ropes looking like he wanted to fucking die, and his face looked so dehydrated. I wanted to like pour a whole ocean on his face so that maybe it could absorb something. Like, no, Drew is 100%, 100 fucking percent in the right here. And honestly, I love Sammy and I love Jay, but Drew might actually be the person I feel the worst for with this whole Dwayne bullshit. Because Drew even told Punk in his promo, I'm going to get to the world title match at Mania and I'm going to live your dream again. Like, that's probably not going to happen.
Again, dude, that was the best part. The again was so petty, and it's just like he's already been there and done that, and Punk is still striving, and it was taken away from him, and Drew's just like, yeah, I've been there and done that, but I still want to do it again. Fuck you.
Oh,
I want to do
God.
it a second time before you get to do it a first time, bitch.
Oh God, Drew can do whatever he wants a second time, especially to me. I officially volunteer. I volunteer. I'm like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thrust that gladius into me. But more importantly,
Wait, you mean Claymore? The Gladius is Roman.
well, that you know what? That's fair. Thrust that claymore into me, and then you know what? Honestly, I said what I said the first time. Roman could get some too. I mean, I'm
No, like
loving.
Rome, like Italy.
Right, right. No, it is such a good time to be a hater in pro wrestling.
I mean, yeah.
I
Javaris is right.
prayed for
Drew
times
is
like
definitely
this.
the hater of the year so far.
No, I mean, I prayed for that. Look, I never thought I would say this to him, but Stokely, who has a PhD in being a hater, he might be taking notes from Drew right now because he's looking at it. He's like, oh damn, I never prayed on somebody's downfall like this. Then told the person to their face. Oh God! And then he beat Sami Zayn on Raw after Sami Zayn tried standing up for CM Punk. Which I mean, Sammy, you've got a heart of gold. I'm not about to rake you over hot coals. I know when to stop, especially when it's somebody that I respect. But really, dude, like I just gotta like ask you as a friend, like really, like CM Punk. Nah, nah, man. I'm sorry. It wasn't gonna be a battle you were gonna win. And so yeah, he beat Sammy again. Sammy's all frustrated, but you know what? I will say this. This is why I don't want Jimmy versus Jay at Mania, because the original splinter up the ass of Drew McIntyre is fucking Jey Uso. Why aren't we building to Drew versus Jay at Mania? Like, if you're not going to give Drew a world title match, which I would love to see at this point because his work has been so fucking keno and so fucking excellent, give him the Jey Uso matchup. Those two would eat. I would be there for it. I don't want to see Jay face Jimmy. I literally, when you say 'cause I think you said earlier, well, oh yeah, no, you said it about Caden and Katana that they do less than nothing for you. That match does less than nothing for me. If we're talking about Jay versus Drew, though, I'm fucking there. Like, finish that story. But yeah, Drew's
Four-way
fantastic.
Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Gunther versus Drew versus Jay versus Braun.
God, yeah, but see, God, I love it on one hand, but I feel like again, when you've got champions like Gunther and Roman, it's like you gotta lose it one on one. So I guess Gunther would just retain in that case to me because I don't know if I'd be comfortable with him losing the title without even like getting beaten. If he does get beat, it's like, oh well, it was
No.
three other people. But I see your vision. I do. There's a big part of me that likes it, but another part of me is like, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I'm really with Cliff ultimately. Gunther versus Braun Cobb one on one, or Gunther versus anybody, Jay or Sammy. I really don't want Sammy again because I feel like Sammy already did the best stuff with the
What
Intercontinental
is
title
this? New
as a heel.
Japan with y'all being like, no, it has to be one-on-one. It's WWE, man. Let's have some fun with it.
Well, no, WWE low key is kind of like because they're the one doing the long ass fucking title reigns, and I feel like when you have,
Wasn't the triple
God,
threat between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew a match of the year a couple years ago?
it was. I'm just saying, look, I'm good with a four way, but for me, the only thing would be Gunther would have to retain, and I'm just kind of looking for Braun to be the next IC champion. That's also
Well,
my other like hidden agenda
I
here.
mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that's. I mean, he could still be.
yeah, but like Mania though, it's the
Listen,
crowning.
man, not every title has to change hands at Mania.
Yes. Ugh. Javaris, it's not happening, bro. I gotta have an
I mean,
intervention for you.
honestly, I'm at this point now. It feels like the peak for the possibility of Okada going to WWE has kind of passed, and now I feel like the tables have turned, and now I'm leaning more towards the likelihood of Okada going to AEW.
And then there's that one fan somewhere that's like, Okada for TNA. He did so great with the machine guns. uh, yeah, Super Blue, that is a fair point. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I've heard some things that they may face off. Yeet versus no Yeet. It would be a
I think
gimmicky type
Jay
matchup.
wants literally nothing to do with Jimmy at all. I think he wants to literally stay as far away from him as possible.
I don't blame him. I would too if I
That's what
was a
I'm
draw. I
saying
don't.
though. Is like I know there's
Yeah.
been a lot of speculation about Jay versus Jimmy, and I'm totally open to the possibility that it could happen. But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to get to the point that either one of them wants it to happen,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
not even on the same brand.
Yeah. I think Jey Uso fans can exhale, because when you really put it in those terms, it's like, yeah, like I don't know. I guess it's just still a worry that I have, and I just want more for Jay. And I will say, I'm a huge Braun Breaker fan. I'm really starting to thinking that when he's officially on the main roster, which we might as well say is now for like the next Phase 5, he may very well be number one. And that's knowing that Kevin Owens is still a thing and he's not going anywhere. Uh, I'm all about it. But even knowing that, I push Braun aside so Jay could have his WrestleMania moment against Gunther because that dude has been doing such great work for forever now. He deserves fucking something. Like I really am with Foster,
Yeah.
where it's like Jay just for any single title. I know I've been saying, it's got to be Braun. I want Braun Gunther, and I do. I really, really fucking bad want that match. But if it really came down to him or Jay, Braun's so young yet. He's gonna have 10 fucking years, if not more, to win all the championships he could possibly want to win.
Yup.
Give Jay this one. I can be a big enough person to say that.
I also just feel
So
like maybe like Jimmy won't have a match at WrestleMania because Roman just wants him free to help him win his.
yeah, it's like, look, Jay, you didn't win, or excuse me, Jimmy, you didn't win the Rumble. You got to do something right, and I'm gonna trust you. Have my back for this whole tribal chief matchup with Dwayne-athan, whatever the fuck, coming into
Dwayne,
my
oh my god.
coming into my house doing this shit.
Yeah.
Um,
I will also say Solo. There's the whole rumor of Solo versus Cena. This could end up being the most box office WrestleMania of all time.
oh yeah, dude. I mean,
Not
it's
even
for
low key,
40 years
high
of
key.
WrestleMania. Yeah, yeah. I know, I agree, man. I agree. It's gonna be, Cliff, I will not lie to you, man, that thought has crossed my mind multiple fucking times. Multiple fucking times. I'm like,
I
"Ro."
want that so bad. Oh my god, yes. You think like Solo loses maybe to Cena because Cena lost to Solo so badly at Crown Jewel, so Solo puts over Cena in the undercard of Mania Night 2, and like maybe Cena has to do so much to Solo, maybe he like puts him through the table with an AA or something and then rolls him back in the ring, hits him with like a super AA finally to get the dub, and Solo's just out for the night. Maybe they even do like a stretcher spot with Solo or some shit like that. And then you know he's not showing up. And then Jimmy shows up to help Roman, but he gets taken out. And it's like, oh my god, Roman is gonna get exposed. And then fucking Jacob does it.
Dude, I love that. The only other option I would accept is because we know that Nick Aldis is this type of GM, he could just be like, "Roman, I'm sick and tired of you always relying on the bloodline, so the bloodline
Yes.
are banned from ringside." And then, but
Oh
here's the
wait,
thing.
that's the same thing that happened with Solo's debut.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, but here's the thing though, because Roman's a dick, and we love that about him so much. Jacob helps him, but then the next SmackDown with Aldis in the ring because he wants an explanation, Roman brings Jacob officially into the bloodline while making direct eye contact with Aldis. Like, oh, you're in the bloodline
Now,
now. Oh, look at
yes.
that, Aldis. Don't know what to tell you. Fuck. God, I love to be a hater right now at this moment in professional wrestling. Finally, there are douchebags that I could support. I prayed for times like this.
He
I like it's
introduces Jacob and he's just like,
God.
welcome to the bloodline, oos.
Yeah. And Aldous just looks at him like, "You motherfucker."
Oh my god. Yeah, I have been seeing apparently Booker T specifically is pushing really hard for WWE to sign Jacob, so
Yeah.
it's also kind of
Mm.
wild that Jacob is actually older than Solo.
Yeah, I think we were talking about in the Discord a while back, weren't we? Like,
I
yeah, I
will
think you had
say, I
brought
think
that up.
Jacob is much more talented than Solo, but WWE has
Right.
already sunk so many years into Solo and building him up as this monster. Like, can you imagine if they team up though? Jacob and Solo as a tag team? I mean, who needs the Usos if you got those guys, right?
Oh, absolutely. And bro, what I love about this story too, which is why I think it's been able to go on for so long, is like Roman from the very beginning with Jay, which is why we all thought Jay should have been the one to end the reign. He's like, "Look, I'm responsible for our whole family. So when you
Mm-hmm.
bring in more family members, it vindicates that idea because it's like, oh, well, Roman's been providing for us. So like, of course I got his back." And then Roman's like, "That's right. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
me, of course." So I love it.
Providing for
I
the
love it.
family and cashing them checks for the company too.
God, Roman, I love you.
Don't we all though?
We
I
do.
know Abel
Dude, I'm telling.
does. Abel loves his Romy.
As he should, because my son has taste,
Yep.
because he's fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you though, like when people were grumbling, "Oh, that's another year Roman with the title," I'm like, "Good, beat Hulk Hogan, beat Bruno next. I don't give a shit. Fuck these old people. They didn't. These old people never did
Dude,
anything for me.
it's
Fuck
funny
them."
because I think after Mania last year, Paul Heyman said we're in the third inning, and then people took that figuratively. That's like, I mean, what if it was literal though? What if Roman has a 9-year reign?
If Roman retains again at Mania 40, which I have upwards of 90% right now, I want Abel to post that image again with Roman just winning all the titles and all the Mania main events with him just like laughing and Paul Heyman by his side. Cause like, yeah, that's the world
That's
I want to
why he
live in.
barely wrestles though, because they are making damn sure that this man does not get fucking injured again.
But that's intelligent though,
Yeah.
like, cause yeah, he's box office. I'd want to protect my golden egg laying goose too. I'd
The
be like,
fact
look,
that
you,
this man has never been the star of a single movie ever and he's already more culturally relevant than Batista is wild.
yeah. Oh God, I love it. I love
Batista
it
has
so.
starred in multiple billion-dollar movies, and he has been the star of several not billion-dollar movies, but movies that have been like in theaters and shit, and like got advertised on TV. Like he's been the star of the. Hell, he was just in Glass Onion not that long ago, and he had like a pretty prominent role. He was literally the first on-screen death of the movie. People liked him in that movie, and yet Roman Reigns, who's really only ever been in Hobbs and Shaw, in like a tertiary role at best, is more culturally relevant because of wrestling, because of what he does for WWE.
I could imagine somebody that's like you and does the deep dive on this stuff and does their research, and they go to Roman and like some Connors and they're like, look, I mean, I like you, but I don't understand. Like, you've outpaced Batista, and he was Drax, and Roman just looks at him and he's like, ain't nobody talking about that. Like, I'm all anybody's talking
Oh,
about.
or the classic line, he was Drax. That's irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, and I'm Roman Reigns. Think I win on that one because I'm real. He takes the makeup off. Tribal Chiefs 24/7, 365. Get the hell out. You made an
Oh,
autograph?
man.
Yeah, good, get out.
All this discussion though just makes me long that much harder for Peacemaker season 2.
Dude, I know. I've been thinking about that a bit lately too. Yeah, that's got to be coming. Um, I I think that's Raw because I really like there really wasn't much to talk about on Raw either.
I'm
Do we
gonna look
have
it up
to?
really quick and just kind of skim and make sure that we didn't miss talking about anything important. We we did have Andrade's debut on Raw.
Wait, like wrestling debut? I don't remember him having a
No,
match.
no, just
No,
like
no,
he
just a
showed
segment. That's
up.
right, because he signed the
Yeah.
contract. Yeah, okay.
Kofi failed to defeat Gunther for the IC title.
Another solid match. Bro, to give Gunther his flowers just one more time, because we've been heaping a lot of praise on Roman. If you're looking for the workhorse champion, this dude has apparently had 91 successful defenses across TV, live events, and everything
Holy
else.
shit! That's
Dude,
insane.
dude, you think they're going to let him hit 100? I low key hope they let him hit 100, honestly. But I don't
Yeah.
know if he'll be by Mania.
Isn't that
Like,
like a defense a week, if not more? I
possibly.
want to
What was the
see.
I want to pull up the actual stats so that I know that I'm quoting it right before you do too much
Oh,
work.
I can just
Yeah,
pull up his title reign and look that way.
yeah, Russell Ops really just said, yeah.
Oh,
This is on January 31st. He passed 600 days, a total of 91 championship defenses across TV, pay per view, house shows, and dark matches. Jesus Christ.
that's interesting.
What a fucking hoss.
You're saying this about Gunther?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, include dark matches and matches at house shows.
yeah.
92 I'm seeing now.
Wow.
Oh, and it's for a 600 and I believe 604-day reign. So if you do the math on that, I know you don't like math, but I'm going to do it for you. Yeah, he is averaging a defense every 6.5 days, basically.
What more can you ask for, guys? Come on. Come on. That's amazing. That is fucking amazing.
That is such an insane rate. I will say, televised, he does only have 21.
You know what though? I am gonna give him his 91 though, because
No, you
like
know
his
what
body
though?
don't know the difference.
No, here's the thing though. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
take anything away from him. That's still averaging more than one a month.
yeah,
He still averages a defense every 28 days or so. It's like 28.76 days between defenses. So like he's still and fuck it's a leap year anyway. He's still averaging a defense more than once a month, which is still phenomenal.
yeah, 100%, dude. What a fucking freak, man. Like I'm sorry because I like Seth actually,
Yeah.
but I can't wait for Gunther to win the Raw World Heavyweight title. This way, if Roman's still the champion and he's talking shit, Gunther's music in hand and he'd be like, "Oh, I was hearing you talk. Say it again." And Roman, because we know, like, he really is just a heel, and he is cowardly. He just has a really confident air about it. He's just like, well, I'm the tribal chief. It's like, okay, and then he just like chops him or something. Like, I really want to see Roman stand to Gunther like that,
Psh.
because yeah, goddamn. Oh man,
All right.
WWE really is in a great spot right now as far as the actual product. But let's put the kibosh on that. I guess we got to talk about
A
AEW, don't
dub.
we?
I've got at least one rant stored up that I want to use for this.
I want to ask you this sincerely because this is a week actually where I was checked out. Obviously, we are live when Collision's on. Didn't watch Rampage. I didn't even go back and watch Dynamite after. I guess after what you told me, I kind of internalized it, and I'm like, no.
You made a
Beyond your rant,
great choice.
beyond your rant, is there anything really worthy to talk about from AEW this week? Because I
Are you
really
asking
have
me? I just need clarification. Are you asking me if anything good happened on Dynamite this week?
No. I'm asking you, is there anything beyond your rant worth talking about, good, bad, or just whatever, newsworthy even, like
Well,
Cody
okay,
Rhodes? Like,
so my rant is specifically about the fact that we are getting Hangman versus Swerve again.
yes.
And
You know
that the
what?
third time
Yeah.
is the only one that matters because that's the one that's going to be for the title.
Yeah, please, you know what? Just lead with that and we'll go from there. Because I really could not believe this when you fucking told me this shit.
Yeah, like
So,
literally at the end of the show, we found out that next week, meaning like in 4 days at this point, this coming Wednesday, we are getting Swerve versus Hangman for a third time. At least this time it's on television, but the winner gets the title shot. So they literally said winner take all in the third match after Swerve won the first two.
also want to add to your rant that the second match was Hangman's fucking match.
And yeah, that's the other thing is that Swerve's win in the second match, you can say, oh, you had help or whatever, but like it was no DQ. As far as I'm concerned, help is legal in no DQ matches, which means Swerve won that match perfectly clean. So now Hangman's fucking whiny bitch ass little fucking privileged white boy ass is making the argument, oh, you can't beat me without help from Mogul Embassy. And that's how he got this third match. And yet, for some reason, the third match is the one that is the only one that matters because the third match is the one that's for contendership for the title.
Yeah.
And it's and then tonight, here's something you might not know because you said you didn't watch Collision, right?
No, I did not. Because, I mean,
Bro,
we're usually, yeah.
Swerve has to win on Wednesday. If Swerve does not win on Wednesday, it makes Hangman. I mean, he already looked bad. He already looked heelish. He will be such a heel. He will be a WrestleMania 19 Triple H level heel.
Holy shit, what happened on Collision?
Swerve cut a promo tonight where he acknowledged black trailblazers in wrestling history. He named Ron Simmons, Farouk. He fucking named Kofi Kingston.
Oh shit.
He gave credit to Athena and what the work she's doing in ROH right now. And he said, on Wednesday, I'm going to make Black History. He's making it about Black History Month. He can't fucking lose.
But can't he though in the world of
No.
Anthony Khan?
No, he can't because if he does, AEW will have ruined their top fucking homegrown babyface.
Yeah, no, you understand that I understand you. I'm just saying that it's AEW and I'm cynical as hell. Like, because you and I think, have the healthy read on this. I had no idea that Swerve cut a promo like that. I don't even know if it was smart for his character as it is right now to cut a promo like that. However, to be fair to him, he really has made it a big point to be the first Black World Champion in AEW. Like, he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet. I think he said things both in and out of character that he wants to make that history. So in that respect, um, I can understand the promo, but like, yeah, he better fucking win. Cause like, but then see, I still don't like AEW because I don't even like that they're facing again because the whole thing for Hangman is like, oh, can he beat Swerve? And then I'm pretty sure if Swerve does win the world title one of these days, and that's a big if still with AEW, he'll probably just drop it to Hangman and make it about Hangman's redemption story, which I don't know, just feels kind of gross to me in a way. Like, yeah, AEW is a fucking mess. He better fucking win now. Like, yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I really can't believe they went that far, like with this promo, but you had him say it. You got to commit to it now.
That's what
Because
I'm
if you
saying.
don't,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying is like you can't have a problem with racism. Like you're historically known as a company that has a problem with race already. And then you have a dude get this organically over who is black, and then you put him in a match that you're already making him jump through too many fucking hoops to get a world title shot, and then you have him cut a promo about making Black History on the third day of Black History Month. You cannot not have him win this. You just fucking can't.
bro, what are you gonna do if they do though?
I
Like,
will
because I'm,
legitimately take a break from AEW. I genuinely if Hangman wins, if it's a draw, I won't take a break from AEW. I'll be annoyed, but I won't be so irate that I will just stop watching for a while. But if Hangman just straight up wins in any way, I don't care if it's DQ. I don't if Hangman wins. If Hangman gets the title shot at Revolution, I'm out. I will take a hiatus and I will not watch again for a few months at least. Because I
Yeah.
won't tolerate that shit. That is legitimate, like, next level bullshit.
Like, you already know from me, bro. Like, I've really tried with this company, and I am gonna get back on the horse. I still even wanna kinda go back and retroactively, because that's what I've been doing with some shows when I miss. I really am trying to watch everything this year, but I can't lie to y'all, even with what I've watched, like, it's just so fucking lifeless and so pandering and so boring. Like, I'm bored. I'm bored out of my fucking mind. So I don't know. I still want to watch this episode in the lead up, and I honestly want to go back now. You did sell me on Collision. That and Cliff just raving about Danielson's matchup on Collision. I want to go back and watch that because I do want to be prepared for Wednesday. Because I'll
There
tell
were
you,
two pretty solid women's matches on Collision too. Dude, Queen Aminata, you want to talk about workhorses? Queen Aminata has been getting so many matches on AEW television lately. It is incredible. This woman's endurance must be next level because I feel like I've seen her 2 or 3 times a week for the last month.
yeah. No, and she's great too. I like her. I like what I've seen from her. But yeah, I guess for me, essentially, I want to watch all the AEW content I missed in the lead up to this big match because we all need to watch it together. Because if they are really gonna fuck over Swerve, we all need to be like a hug slash prayer circle to deal with the fucking fallout. I mean, the prayer circle for before the fallout, just to give that one last boost of energy. The Drew McIntyre method. And then if it all goes to shit, just the fucking counseling immediately because I really can't believe they put their balls on the table like that and had Swerve cut a promo like this.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have a stat.
sure. What's up?
Since December 20th, which was Queen Aminata's first match back from a 10-month hiatus, I'm assuming she was injured, unfortunately. But since December 20th, Queen Aminata has wrestled 11 matches between AEW TV and ROH on Honor Club.
Jesus Christ.
11 matches in a month and a half, basically.
That's wild,
I'm
dude.
telling you, man, she's a fucking workhorse. And even just on AEW TV, if I exclude all of the Honor stuff, or Honor Club stuff, I should say, let's see here. She worked Rampage on the 20th of December. Then she was Mariah May's first in-ring opponent on January 3rd. She worked Sheeta on Rampage on January 10th. She worked Statlander on Rampage on January 17th. And just since January 17th, so this is pretty much just the last 2 weeks now. It's like the last 2.5 weeks, really. She has worked Statlander on Rampage, Thunder Rosa on Collision, Willow Nightingale on Rampage, and Serena Deeb on Collision. Boom. 4 matches in the last 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
She's been kicking ass, man. And that's the thing, too, is that all of her matches are at least solid. She worked Serena Deeb tonight, and that was a solid ass match, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been really growing to like Queen Aminata, and honestly, she might be in my Fave 5 for AEW next time we do one.
Hell yeah, man. Fuck yeah. No, because I mean that's the thing. We try and find the good in every wrestling company, and there are genuinely good workers in that company. And I'm just glad that she's got more visibility than other like Tony Khan projects and stuff. I hope that momentum continues. I really, really do.
Speaking of our Fave
Um,
5s, by the way, since
yes.
I know Queen Aminata was in your honorable mentions this time around, someone else that was in my honorable mentions this time around, Brian Keith, signed with AEW officially tonight on Collision.
Nice. Good for him.
Yeah,
Hope
he
that turns out well for him. I really do.
he had a match tonight against Eddie Kingston, and he did lose. Obviously, it's Eddie Kingston, but he had a solid match against Eddie, and then afterwards, the graphic came up that he was all elite on the Tron. So we had that moment tonight. That was pretty cool.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, there are people I'm definitely rooting for in AEW, and I think none more than Swerve right now. So now all I'm thinking about is that third matchup on Wednesday. I'm like, you really, even you AEW, you've got to see right, like how this has to go. Fuck. Um. Yeah. Is there anything to talk about just across the AEW spectrum of content that's worth talking about this
I
week?
mean, I will say, Deanna Perrazzo and Taya Valkyrie put on a really solid match.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I think that the match would have improved significantly had there not been so much of a focus on Toni Storm's reactions to the match and her facial expressions. Her commentary
Yes.
was hilarious, if not maybe a little over the top crude.
Yeah.
It was funny though. It was really funny. But the match itself was really good, and I wish we could have seen more of it. I feel like we only got to see like maybe 70 to 75% of the match because the other 25 to 30% of the match was either commercial or cuts to Toni Storm reactions
Right.
because she was on commentary and they kept cutting to her. And of course, every time they cut to her, it's the black and white filter, and we get to see her face and her reactions to the everything that's happening. And it's like, God,
That's been a problem with AEW, bro. Because if you remember when MJF had that poker chip, it's like when
yeah,
AEW has acts that they know are over,
yeah,
it's like you
they
overexpose them even in more subtle
overemphasize.
ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're doing the same thing now with this timeless Tony Storm gimmick. Like,
Which
especially, yeah.
no, you especially what?
No, I was gonna say, especially with gimmicks like this, I feel like less is more, and
Yeah.
I feel like they just don't abide by that adage at all. But what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, especially because even the timeless Tony Storm gimmick doesn't even make sense anymore. Because the whole point of the timeless Tony Storm gimmick was her dissociating from reality to compensate and to cope for the fact that she lost the women's title and then she won it back, and she's still doing it. She's still dissociating. It doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Um.
Uh,
So yeah.
so we also had a match between Wardlow and Commander that should not have gone as long as it did and looked like it could have injured Wardlow, but thankfully he did tweet that he was okay. I was very worried for him. Um, Wardlow did win, but he should have won quicker. There was a
Yes.
point in this match that it felt like he should have just won, but then of course it was like Wardlow had Commander up for a power bomb, but Commander escaped via a Rana, and I was like, okay, this is where the match has lost the plot. And it was only after that moment that it looked like Wardlow's injuries happened, and I say injuries because it looked like there could have been two of them. Because at one point, Commander hits a Phoenix, or not, yeah, hits a Phoenix fucking splash on Wardlow. Only his left knee hits Wardlow in the throat, and I'm thinking, oh my god, he just got triple traked.
Yeah. Ooh,
He
dude.
literally grabbed his throat like he was fucking choking on his own trach.
Yeah.
And
You told me
then
about that. I was terrified for
and
him. Yeah.
then
That
he
was.
goes to get Commander up for the power bomb, the big power bomb finish that he does now, because he doesn't do the power bomb symphony. He does more of like a last ride now. And one of his fucking knees gives out. He
Yeah.
was limping the
Yeah.
entire rest of the segment. So I was worried about Wardlow. Thankfully, he's okay, and he did get the win. But man, AEW really, really needs to learn how to book some of these squashier matches to be even more squashier, frankly.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you know that?
Ab-
Did you know that Jericho had a match against the Ring of Honor Television Champion this week? By the way, on Dynamite,
no, I had no idea about that.
Kyle Fletcher.
Did he win?
Jericho won, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I don't even know. What is there to say after a certain point? It's like Jesus Christ.
You know the old phrase that'll put asses in seats.
Yeah.
The show opened with John Moxley versus Jeff Hardy.
Stop enabling him, Jesus Christ.
Which one?
Hey, at least Moxley got his shit together, and I'm hoping it stayed that
I
way.
mean, with the
But
blood
like,
for Moxley.
did he bleed in this match?
No, thankfully, but it wouldn't have surprised me. He did do the Randy Orton screwdriver spot to Jeff Hardy's ear hole.
Wow. That's See, this is what I mean, though. This is why I can't even find the spirit in me for as much as I want to be better this year. It's like, oh, you want to watch AEW? Like, dude, literally for me, because I've been recovering from my surgery, and I'd say I'm more or less back to normal. I think I just need like another 2 weeks, but like pain's gone. Obviously, I'm going along with you on these podcasts. So as far as like everybody knows, like functionally, I'm there, right? But like while I'm recovering, I'm like, oh, you're not doing anything. You want to watch AEW and catch up? And my body was just like, no. Like I pulled it up, I watched the first like minute, and then I closed out of it because I was like, no, I'm not feeling this. And it's just yeah, like I'm gonna be invested next week, but I'm gonna be invested because I'm hoping Swerve gets what he should have fucking gotten already. And if he doesn't get it, I'm just gonna be like, why? What the fuck are we
It's
doing?
like their decision. Like it really it's like their make or break moment, honestly. Because
No, it really is.
If Hangman just straight up wins, it oh my god, like first of all, it validates everything he's been saying because Swerve specifically said to Stokely, no interference on Wednesday during his collision
Yeah,
promo. So it's like he is going out of his way to be like, I am going to win this thing clean. And he has to do it. Because if Hangman wins again, like I said, it will validate everything that Hangman has been saying this whole time. And in doing so, it will invalidate both of Swerve's first two wins. And it will
yeah,
render them useless and worthless and pointless, etc., right? And then it's like you line jump Swerve. It's like Swerve already beat him twice. Hangman line jumps him to get the shot at Joe. And what does Swerve do while he is waiting in the wings at that point? There's nothing left for him to do at this point. He should be the world champion already. He shouldn't be fucking waiting his turn anymore. So like yeah, no, it's a real make or break moment for me because like it and again we come back to this fact that like this company has issues with race already. We can't forget the big swole incident. Like this shit has been going on for years. Even Cliff in chat is pointing out they are signing new black wrestlers just to job them out. Queen Aminata and Brian Keith are recent signees, but they are both perpetual jobbers in this company. You need a fucking PR win, Tony. Let Swerve win 3 in a row. Hangman will be fucking fine. I swear.
yeah. I think it was Super Blue that made that point. I think you said Cliff's name, but the point that Cliff did make that I want to give him credit for
Oh
is
yeah,
he
it was
said,
Super Blue. Props Super Blue.
yeah, and what Cliff said was that as far as like Swerve Hangman, they need to make it a Tommy Dreamer and Raven feud from ECW where Dreamer just could never beat Raven. That's what it should be with Hangman Swerve. Like there should just be something about Swerve that Hangman can't fucking figure out. And like, yeah, deal with it.
Yeah,
Just deal with it.
exactly. It's not going to make
Yeah,
Hangman less over for not being able to beat Swerve. People are going to like him more for being willing to put Swerve over because he's already a made fucking man. He's a former world champion. He doesn't fucking need this.
exactly. Like, yeah, dude, I just have a weird feeling though that because Joe's the champion right now,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I'm
I just
telling you
don't
though,
know, man.
dude, Joe is the champion, but Joe and Swerve are both heels that people like.
Yes.
So you could absolutely get away with that match.
Oh, you could. I don't disagree with you at all. I'm hoping AEW feels the same way, my man. I really
Yeah.
fucking am.
So the only thing on Dynamite that we haven't really talked about are the two pick your opponent matches, and that's kind of another rant that I've been saving up too because I have never felt like a pick your opponent situation has been handled well in wrestling ever. I don't think. Was there ever a pick your opponent situation in Lucha Underground that was handled well? Because I don't remember.
I don't remember a pick your poison type situation in Lucha Underground.
Because it's never handled well. Because in this one, Swerve, naturally, you know, he's like this egotistic heel. He thinks that he has recruited all of the best, so he wants to pick one of the guys out of his own faction. But instead of picking the Machine, Brian Cage, he goes with Toa Leona. And like, I like Toa Leona. I like Bishop Khan. I like both members of Gates of Agony. I think they're cool as hell. But Brian Cage is right fucking there. Dude is gigantic and terrifying. And like he paints his face to look like a cyborg. And at some points, I think he really does just believe that he's a cyborg. Like he gets offended when people call him a man. Like
Yeah.
it's hilarious, honestly. But no, you go with Toa Leona, who is both smaller and weaker than Brian Cage. And like another thing about this match that annoyed me is like Toa Leona is 1/3 of a team that couldn't even handle Jay White and the Gun Club or Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed over the course of the last few weeks. They lost both of their title matches against those teams, the trios title matches that they've had. And yet in this match, he no-sold a Deadeye.
I saw that, dude. That was so bad.
Yeah, Hangman
I
hits the
saw the clip
Deadeye
of
and
that.
Toa just fucking stands up and poses like he's Umaga.
Yeah, that to me, that did not come off well at all. I have no problem with him whatsoever, but I'm like, learn to sell your fucking shit, people.
Well, no,
Christ.
I mean, he wasn't. That was like it was intentional. Like it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't like an oops, forgot to sell. It was like, no, fuck you. I'm not selling your shit. I'm a beast. I'm eating it.
Oh, and I understand that. I just feel like the placement of that was very poor. Like
My
I could
problem
almost even
is like
yeah.
it's the credibility. Like Toa Leona is a lower card dude, and you really think that I'm supposed to just buy that this lower card dude all of a sudden becomes Super Saiyan 4 because he's in a singles match against a guy he's supposed to do a lot of damage to? Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean Cliff's right. It's AEW. Like that's the rebuttal. Like it's AEW. Like oh fuck me. That's why
I'm
when you
sorry,
say
but
they need
if
to get
your
better for
calling card as a wrestling company is having shitty psychology for cheap pops, you need a new identity.
I mean, yeah, but AEW is like, but why though? Because I feel like that problem, the way you just distilled it down to its very quintessence, like that's been their problem for years to me. Because outside of a few workers, I feel like a lot of their matches are just, hey, let's just do PWG, but not even like that well. Um,
God, I miss
yeah,
PWG. PWG was so much better than this. I
I
feel like
know.
PWG had more storytelling than this, honestly.
Yeah, like I think people that try and do PWG didn't really get what made PWG so
Which is
special, and
ironic
it's
because
to an extent.
Excalibur's right fucking there.
Yeah, but he veils face, so how dependable is he really?
He veiled face in PWG too.
And maybe that was part of the problem. I don't know. Oh God.
So then the other one, this epic, big, built up, pick your poison that Hangman has chosen for Swerve, is a fucking geriatric. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care if he looks good for his age. Our Truth does too, but I wouldn't want him to be chosen as somebody that's going to do a lot of damage to a guy before your match with him. Or Rob Van Dam. 53-year-old Rob Van Dam, born in 1970 ass. Rob Van Dam is chosen as Swerve's opponent, and Adam Page, Hangman, and really specifically Tony Khan, because he's the one that put the words in his mouth, thinks that we are all supposed to be so intimidated by Rob Van Dam because Hangman makes it a hardcore match. Oh my God, he can do the Van Daminator with a chair. I am so terrified for Swerve. Fuck this shit, man. Fuck this garbage. It's trash.
Yeah. Nothing really more to say but cosign, man. I mean, when you told me that Van Dam was the opponent, and I'm like, again, these people just aren't like, is Keith Lee? Keith Lee's still injured right now, right? So he couldn't have done Keith Lee, I guess. Because I'm just because I only
No,
asked that
yeah,
because
Keith
what
Lee literally couldn't get cleared for day one or whatever the day one show was. I forget at this point. World's End. That's what it was. He
World's
couldn't get
End,
cleared
yeah.
for World's End, and then he did this whole thing about how it's time to go get fixed. I wouldn't expect to see his ass until 2025, honestly.
Damn, that's rough. Dude, Keith Lee fans, I'm sending my prayers out to y'all. Like, it's been fucking rough, man. What the fuck? I remember when I felt like this dude was gonna take over the wrestling world, and like it's just been a rough go for him. I feel so bad for him. But no, why I even asked that, I feel like what makes pick your poison matches so they can work, but you've got to know the person whose poison you're picking. Like Triple H and Batista did it, right, for their feud. And Triple H being the heel and not really thinking like, well, I mean, he thought well, but since Batista hadn't really been in that many personal feuds up to Triple H because he was always like the muscle guy, he's like, oh, Batista thinks he's going to intimidate me because Batista had picked Chris Benoit for Triple H. And that made perfect fucking sense between WrestleMania 20 and just their feud. Benoit always beat Triple H, always. Triple H picked Kane. Now, given again that Batista doesn't have like the personal stuff, Kane makes sense because he's a monster. How do either of these pick your poisons make sense? Like, I was already telling you for Hangman, I would have picked Archer for Hangman because
Yes.
they had a Texas death match. He's a fucking monster,
Yup.
and like they have history. For Swerve,
There are some really good options for Swerve. Honestly, I think AR Fox would have been a good match because he wants revenge for Swerve basically betraying him, basically abandoning him. I think, you know, just me. No, not necessarily, but for the AEW audience, you know who would have been a great fucking pick? Will
Who?
Ospreay.
Yeah, that's true.
Osprey is signed with the company at this point. We already know that. His dates in New Japan are up. There's I why and literally, do you want to know what Swerve's record against Osprey is in his career?
What's that?
2-7.
Damn.
Osprey would have beaten the fuck out of Swerve, and it would have helped Hangman a lot more than this garbage.
Yeah, you could have. I don't know if Swerve took any one-on-one L's in the Continental Classic. I don't think he did. But if anybody beat him in that tournament one-on-one, you could have just had that person face him in a rematch because it's like, well, he beat him very recently, kind of thing. You had fucking options here, and like to just trot out RVD. I mean, hell, like again,
Moxley beat
kind of
Swerve, by the way.
Moxley, I think would have been a great choice. Much like you said, yeah, with your pick there, that the AEW crowd would have liked, but not necessarily you. I'm the same way in the sense that you could have even trotted out Hook, even though he got destroyed by Joe. I mean, not destroyed enough where he couldn't kick out of a muscle buster at one, but you could have even had Hook, who's been running with RVD, take on Swerve, and that would have made more fucking sense to me, than just Rob Van Dam.
Did you know that there's
So
actually somebody in AEW who is actively like wrestling every week basically that Swerve has never beaten before?
who's that?
Orange Cassidy.
Wow, see, that also could have been a really interesting pick. Yeah, see, you could have done so much better than RVD. I don't fucking get it at all. And it just like when you told me that, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I think this is really where we're at. Um, Anything else to talk about just across the AEW spectrum of content this week?
Not on Dynamite. Not on Dynamite. As far as Rampage goes, we got Top Flight versus Private Party again on this show. It wasn't anything special.
Okay.
We
What else?
got
Yeah.
tag title eliminator match: Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus the Dark Order. No thanks. We did get Willow Nightingale versus Queen Aminata again. Solid match. Willow had Stokely in her corner. Stokely, who is now being referred to as Stoolie for some reason. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Um, we get a backstage segment with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, and then Undisputed Kingdom show up. Undisputed Kingdom at this point don't even feel intimidating anymore. They feel like a comedy faction at this point.
They do. I hate to admit it, but you're right.
Adam
Just
Cole
feels like
Adam Cole made fun of Chuck Taylor for being injured.
I mean irony.
Yeah, that was the point.
Okay.
But so yeah, we're gonna be getting a 3-on-3 match, I believe, on Dynamite. It might be on Collision, I don't know. It's gonna be Orange Cassidy, Trent, and Rocky Romero versus Roddy and the Kingdom.
Okay.
So just to be clear, not Wardlow.
Yeah.
Guess they don't want to win the match too bad.
No, I guess they don't. I guess they don't.
And then the main event was a CMLL team getting made, basically. Is Mascara Dorada, Volador Jr., Hechicero, and Mystico versus 2.0 Daniels and Seidel.
Wow, okay.
And then Collision tonight happened. And I have already mentioned that we got two pretty good women's matches. One of them was Serena D versus Queen Aminata, which I've already talked about. The other one, though, was Vert Vixen. We got Vert Vixen on AEW tonight. I'm trying to remember who her opponent was. I'm struggling. I know that Vert Vixen lost. I'm just trying to remember. Vert Vixen. Who did she lose to? Red Velvet. Red Velvet beat Vert Vixen. It was a shorter match, though, unfortunately. But man, Red Velvet is fucking good. She was working stiff as hell tonight. I want her to be Mercedes' first opponent when she shows up.
Yeah, dude, I like Red Velvet. I definitely agree with you on that. I've said before that I'm a Red Velvet fan from what I've seen of her. And again, it's acts like that that are like the only spark of motivation I have to go back and watch these shows, even if I've, missed them within the given parameter, just because I really do want to stay on top of wrestling this year. And talents like Red Velvet are a big reason why, because you never know when like they could hit another gear or they could get that push and you just want to be there for it. Yeah, she's very talented. Yeah, I agree. Uh, Anything else?
Let me pull up Collision's card for the night. We already talked about Eddie Kingston and Brian Keith. I did not watch Danielson Hechicero. Obviously, I'm regretting that because apparently it was really good.
Yeah, Cliff has
Hook,
been raving about that. I kind of want to go
yeah,
back and see it myself.
Hook beat a fucking dweeb tag team in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Good to see they learned about, his main event rub and making him face better people so he can get back there. But yeah, no, great AEW, great job.
So I knew this match was happening, but I didn't pay enough attention to it to know the result. I think probably because I saw the writing on the wall and I didn't want to face reality.
Oh no.
Daniel Garcia and FTR got another fucking win, this time against the Patriarchy.
No.
Last week, they beat, if you didn't remember this, last week they beat the House of Black in a cage match with Daniel Garcia, I believe last beating last beating Brody. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And this week they beat the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest. I like House of Black. I even like, Brody King, and for a long time, like he was my least favorite. Haven't seen Buddy work in a minute. I kind of miss it honestly, because I know what an insane engine the guy's got. But you say this to me, and I just can't help but thinking, man, I wish there wasn't. I wish I was in the alternate timeline where Aleister Black just took off on the main roster in WWE, because like he just had such presence to me, and he had such aura to me and such money-making potential to me. What the fuck? And now I don't even know if the ship has sailed on that, but, like, I know back then it was there. And I'm like, "What the fuck are we doing?" Like, I'm even picturing, again, in that alternate timeline, and Aleister Black maybe stepping up to a Roman Reigns or a Seth Rollins and still getting goosebumps. But he's just been in this trios forever. And the guy debuted taking out Cody fucking Rhodes, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna be a major single star, and that just never fucking happened. And it's like now he's losing to this weird makeshift team that, like, Cliff even said they're a weird fit to him. They're a weird fucking fit to me too. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, Julia Hart seems like the most credible member of that faction because she has a championship and she's been winning. And like now these guys are on a downturn to this fucking strange bedfellows trios team. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my face. God, that's so annoying to me. That is so fucking annoying to me. Oh my god. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Jesus fucking Christ, AEW. I am begging you because, I'm still going to try. I really am. I'm still going to try and watch the content, but, like, I'd like to enjoy it. I don't want to hate pro wrestling, okay? Like, I'd like to talk about good things and good acts. So I can't wait to see Red Velvet. I can't wait to see Danielson in that singles match. I can't wait to see Swerve's promo, who I pray to God fucking wins on Wednesday. But you really got to step it the fuck up. But I'm tired of even saying that to you because you should have done it already. Like it's one of those things like when you have to tell a partner or a friend or a sibling that like pick up after yourself or do this and that, and they just don't do it, and then you do it yourself, right? Because they're just never gonna do it. Except I can't do your job for you, AEW. So I'm just stuck hating what you're producing because it's fucking trash. God. And then you want to bring back a ranking system, which, first of all, even if you were like a more tightly organized company, a more coherent company, I still would be averse to. I just don't think rankings ever fucking work. But, like, seriously, what do rankings matter when you can have an established trio like House of Black lose to a team like FTR and Garcia? Like, even, like, I don't see the point of it. I don't see the point in any of it. So I just think it's a bunch of meandering bullshit. And I really hope Swerve wins on Wednesday because one of the best things they do in that company is their world title scene, mainly because of their fucking champion. Like Cliff and I were having a side conversation in the chat. I mean, I love Samoa Joe. I think Joe's fantastic. I think Joe and Swerve could be one of the best world title programs that company has had.
Dude, I
Just
wonder if
period.
Joe would call out Swerve and be like, oh yeah, you think you're the first guy to ever go to someone's house to intimidate
Yeah, dude,
him?
that'd be amazing.
Joe did it with Allen.
That was when the Slack started. They were like, AJ, you've buried me in the closet. Wear me. No, no, we can handle this the right way. It was just a home invasion. Sure, it's just a home invasion now. But what's next? Are they going to try and show you the curvature of the earth? Stop. They wouldn't. They would, Alan.
But wait a
Wear
minute,
me.
there is no curvature, it's flat.
That's right, Alan. And we could keep it that way, so long as you let me do all the talking.
Oh, Wendy.
Mishin versus Slacks at WrestleMania. Give it to me. I just want a really strong women
Wait,
undercard,
can
and
we
I would
just get
take.
Michin versus Wendy?
Ooh,
Wendy
ooh.
Styles.
Oh my god. No, because then because after she lost to Tiffany, she sees fucking Alan, she sees Wendy
Did you
and she's
win?
like, "Oh, listen, is your husband okay? I really wanted to talk to him after my match." "Oh yeah, I saw that." "Oh, you did? I mean, do you have any pointers? I mean, I know wrestling's in your family." And then she repeats, "Did you win?" And then she's just like, "Oh god, it's the whole family. Like it's all of them."
But this time, because she's already heard it before, it triggers her and she just snaps and beats the fuck out of Wendy.
Oh my god. Already more entertaining than anything you told me about from AEW this week.
Yeah.
So
But then again,
so
it is
now,
headcanon, so.
of course, well, I mean, when you've got heads like ours.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, yeah, you know where this is going. All right. Well, I have never dreaded this segment more than I do right now. But actually, no, no, no. Actually, I bought myself 5 more seconds. I bought myself 5 more seconds because did you do any extracurriculars this week?
No.
I didn't either. Okay, well, that was more like 2 seconds. I've never dreaded this segment more than I do right now. I'm opening up the gate for questions on this fucking week, in this fucking world, in this fucking pro wrestling. Jesus fucking Christ. All right, fire off, people. I know you want to ask something.
Oh, no, actually, dude, I'm going to buy us a lot more time when you got to do NXT preview predictions.
Oh, that's see, I thought we were just gonna do it at like the end of the show, but you're right. Let's preview and predict Vengeance Day. So, what match do you want to talk about first?
I'm pulling up the card.
Yeah, pull it up slow.
The
Use that
family
dial.
versus Out the Mud.
I'm gonna go out the mud on this one.
I am going to go with the family, with Adriana Rizzo pinning Jada Parker.
See, interesting, because like, given that they already kind of did that on, well, no, because this is a 6-person tag.
Yeah.
So yeah, because given that they retained the titles against Out the Mud recently on NXT, because I think that was the same episode where Obafemi won the North American title. I just feel like Out the Mud needs something. That's why I'm going with them on this.
But, John, the Riz always takes care of biz.
I know, and I want to go to Olive Garden afterwards, but it's not happening.
Damn. Okay, Joe Gacy's probably going to beat Dijak in the no DQ match. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, because who doesn't? I could beat Dijak at this point with how he's fucking booked.
If you were awful at wrestling and showed up on NXT and decided to be a tryhard, Sean would absolutely let you go over for sure.
Yeah, that's me to a T. Yeah, I mean, and then be like, "What's your gimmick?" And be like, "Well, I'm Zach Gallen, but not a Mark. So let's go with that."
Wait,
Yeah,
was Zach Gowen the one-legged guy?
yeah. So I'd be like, I'm Zach Gallen, but with 2 legs.
No, who was the other guy? Who was the other guy that was just really scrawny?
Gregory Iron?
No, he wasn't ever in WWE. There was a WWE guy that was really scrawny.
I don't know.
Damn.
That doesn't really narrow it down in my mind. Like it does, but it doesn't. Um,
Anyway,
yeah.
but yeah, no, I think we are definitely in agreement that Gacy's winning because, like, literally, Dijak put him, he threw him off of a truck into a dumpster, and within the hour, Gacy was like perfectly fine, and he popped right out of the dumpster and was like, "Oh, hey, yeah, that sounds good to me."
He's a cartoon. Yeah, Gacy's winning. Poor Dijak.
All right, Corbin and Breaker are the Wolf Dogs versus Mello and Trick.
Mello and Trick win, and hopefully Braun spears Corbin after the match, putting the Wolf Dog to sleep.
Colin Delaney. Thank you, Abel. Yes, Colin Delaney. That is who I was thinking of.
Isn't my son just the best? God.
He's actually still wrestling, I think, on the indies.
Yeah, good for him though, honestly.
He was in AEW during the pandemic. Did you know that?
No.
He was wrestling on like Dark and Dark. What the other Dark?
Yeah, wow.
Was it Elevation? Yeah, Dark
Elevation,
Elevation.
yeah.
Yeah,
Elevate, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
that's right. He made a couple appearances for WWE too. He was in one of those jobber tag teams where they lost to the Bludgeon Brothers when they were around.
Yeah, Dom loves wolf dogs too. I'm sorry, guys. Braun's got better things to do. Named Gunther in the Intercontinental title, so Baron can kick rocks.
But
But
that
yeah,
would also
Trick and them.
require for Mello and Trick to coexist, and I don't know, man.
They're gonna coexist long enough for Trick to feel the knife in his back in the main event.
Listen, man, I'm just saying, personally, I am more willing, or not more willing. I feel like there's more precedent for an NXT person holding a title during the early portion of their call up than you're giving them credit for.
Yes, but no.
Wolf
Um,
Dogs can hold the. Actually, wait. I'm picking Wolf Dogs, man, because it's not even for the titles. It's just for the Dusty Classic, and then they get a future title shot, but that can be on the pay-per-view that's WrestleMania weekend. They don't have to win the tag titles.
I'm still going Trick and Mello.
I'm picking Wolf Dogs to win. Wolf Dogs all the way. Because dude, here's the thing. I think that Mello's turning on Trick on this show. So like when would they get their future tag title match? What?
Be hilarious if Mello's like, I got rid of it. We're not doing it now. I'm pulling a Cody Rhodes.
All right, let's talk about Oba Femi.
Oh, you mean the guy that fucking wiped out LWO by himself? Or what was that team he wiped out? Was it LWO? I think it was, right? Because
Yeah, yeah, it
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah, and fucking Dragon Lee, dude, he one hand chopped Dragon Lee while holding the title because Dragon Lee tried to do something.
I'm not gonna say that this should be a squash match, but if it was a squash match, I would laugh really hard and I would get a lot of enjoyment out of that.
um, so a couple things. I wow, I love that you're like, oh god, he's at it again. Oh no.
It's the tone, man. You got me with the tone that time.
um,
It's the
so a couple things.
nonchalance, honestly.
I too agree that it won't be a squash match. Um, Part 2A, I live for your laughter and your joy. I would enjoy
Wait.
seeing that myself
Oh,
personally
okay.
because you said that you'd really enjoy that and
Yeah.
you'd have a good laugh about it.
Yeah.
And to be or not to be, but why wouldn't I be me? I too would really enjoy Obafemi teaching people that are too cowardly to unveil face that this is what happens. You get the shit beat out of you and you don't get to have dreams because you'll just never live them. So they become a source of masochism that you'll just never escape from. So Obafemi to retain because he's 25 and on the come up, and Dragon Lee is not. So yeah, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward to me.
Lyra versus Roxanne.
I am really interested in this one. This should be a
Really?
fun one. Yeah, well, I think it should be a great match. I think, honestly, low key, Tatum's been a great part of the story. I love the camera work, like after Roxanne beat Tatum, and then Roxanne like evades the assault by Tatum and goes back to beating on Tatum, and then Lyra pulls Roxanne off Tatum, and then Tatum's kind of looking at Lyra like, "Oh, you do care about me, you do care." And she's on her hands and knees while those two are just staring each other down. It was a great fucking shot. Um, dude, I'm since we're talking about character shifts and stuff, because you had said, which then proceeded from a classic Ashton laugh, which I want to bottle that and sell it to myself for all time. That you just expect Mello to turn on Trick on this show. I don't expect Lyra to embrace Tatum on this show, but I am low key hoping that Lyra just
Dude, yeah,
embraced
I
Tatum more
fully
identity.
expect for Tatum to help Lyra retain here and for Lyra to not be okay with it on this show. But if she keeps helping her keep that title, she's gonna embrace it eventually for sure.
Yeah, and again, like I don't even know if NXT meant it this way, but you know the whole spiel I went on where I don't even think it's like a Mickey and Trish thing. It really is like Tatum is so paranoid or like so afraid of like the apocalypse or something, and she like sees Lyra almost as like a divine figure, as like, look, as long as you're champion, everything stays
She's
intact.
like a
And then
safety
Lyra,
blanket.
say that again, I only heard blanket.
Yeah, she's like a safety blanket.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And Lyra, I would love if she had like the nuance in her heel character to feed those delusions. Remember Lyra, I need this for the world to stay safe. You want to protect everything here, don't you? Yeah, yeah. Well, then I need to be champion. We know that. So just do whatever it takes. Like, I want it to be, look, it's the Lucha Underground in me, but I'm just going to be explicit. I want it to be a sick, fucked up relationship where ultimately Tatum is the babyface because she wakes up out of the delusions that Lyra has put her in.
Oh, I would love that so much.
Because
Yes.
here's the thing. I say a lot of fucked up shit, but there's one cardinal rule if we're gonna do it in pro wrestling that I live by. Victims always need to win. That's the one thing that really left a bad taste in my mouth about Jay, is that it wasn't just the idea that he came closest to beating Roman and stuff like that. It was the idea pretty overtly that Roman was his abuser and the abuser wins. And
Oh, but by
yeah,
that logic, though, then shouldn't Hangman win on Wednesday?
I mean, when you account for white supremacy and institutional racism, I think Swerve gets the ball back.
Okay,
You know,
fair,
like
fair.
let's overcorrect so we can keep it to where we want it to be. But no, like I see your point, but to me, like Swerve's a menace, but I feel like the whole Roman J thing was so because it was family and it was intimate and like Roman betrayed that trust and that sanctity. And Lyra and Tatum, I was gonna say Roxanne, Lyra and Tatum, excuse me, it's not to that level, clearly. I'm not trying to say that it is, but you could still make it this really weird
Personal.
psychological, personal, abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And then Tatum somehow, maybe it's because after Lyra loses, she just goes off on Tatum. And I'm telling you, like, that's another thing they need to do with the women. We need some more physicality. I think that's one reason why I don't want to speak for Javaris. I don't even know if Javaris is still here because I know it's late. But that's one reason why I was looking forward to the beatdown on Bailey because I wanted something similar to Sami Zayn getting beat down by the bloodline, to Bailey to really put it over like, oh man, now we got to protect Bailey because Bailey's down and out. You got to get more physicality in there. And yeah, Lyra just going off on Tatum and then that just snapping Tatum out of her delusion. It's like, yeah, like let's fucking do it. But bringing it back to where we're departing from should be a great match, but I definitely think, yeah, Lyra retains. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Final match, Ilya Trick. I am just going to say Ilya retains because Trick gets fucked.
Yes, I agree with you. Here's where it gets interesting though to me, and I don't want to think too far ahead, but I'm gonna do exactly that, even though saying I don't want to do that. Obviously we know Trick and Mello are gonna feud. I would think ultimately Trick's gonna win that feud, especially because I feel like Mello's probably gonna be called up soon. I'm wondering though, given Trick's reactions and given the WWE want to capitalize on that, is he gonna be in NXT long enough to run back Dragunov again with Mello out of the way and win the title? Or are they just gonna scrap that all together and call Trick up soon afterwards, I wonder?
That's a great question. Trick, I mean, I thought Trick was going to be on SmackDown this week, and I don't think he was.
No, I don't think he was either. I don't
He
think Mello
was
was either,
rumored.
was he?
No, I don't think either one of them were. That's the thing. I think they were both rumored to be at least backstage, but neither one of them was on the show. Braun Breaker was barely on the show even, and I thought he would have it a match.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna agree with you, man. Dragunov wins. I just don't know if Trick will ever get another shot because he's being called up, or if he will. And like, I would think if he gets a rematch, he definitely wins because he would only lose this time because of Mello. With Mello out of the equation, you'd have to see it that he can beat Dragunov. So
God, it's kind of interesting that we are both expecting every title to just be retained on this show.
yeah, that's true. We didn't pick a single title change. That's weird to me. Yeah, okay. Wow.
I'm gonna be so pissed off, man, if Dragon Lee somehow gets the job done against Obafemi.
Yeah, wow.
That's the
That's
only title change on this show that I do not want under any circumstances whatsoever. If Roxanne wins, you know what? Good for her. Her previous run was cut short by whatever the fuck story they did with Mako. It was garbage and I hated it. And if Trick wins, we're popping bottles for sure.
yeah. I mean, dude's a fucking megastar right now. More of a megastar than LA Knight claims to be because when you're an actual megastar, you don't have to say it in every fucking promo.
When you're an
Um,
actual megastar, the crowd will chant for you without you having to fucking prompt them to do it.
yeah, pander less, jackass. So
He did the
nice.
thing. He did the fucking thing.
Okay. So that's our preview and predictions. And now we already did get a few questions because obviously there's a bit of a discrepancy between, what the live chat hears and what we're saying in real time. So I had to scroll up a bit because I knew there was a question asked earlier and it was from Super Blue. And actually, it was a
Yes.
pretty decent question. I can understand why he asked it. He said, Will Ford, meaning Montez Ford for people unaware, face Logan at Mania after the showdown in Nick's office with Bianca and Logan? I think that's a fair question.
Man,
Uh,
I wanted Bianca so badly to be like, bitch, you want a challenger? Let me fight you.
Dude, Bianca could pull off that China shit easily.
Bro, Bianca would
Easily.
beat Logan Paul's ass in a real fight.
Yeah. He'd have to use the brass knucks on her, and it'd be totally believable. But she'd
Yeah.
like catch his hand or something and like break his fingers, and not
Yes.
like in that dweeby Brit rest way, but like look how fucking strong I am
Cliff,
way.
Cliff in chat, Bianca would squash Logan in 30 seconds. That's what I'm saying. I wanted her to step to him. I wanted her to look at Adam Pearce and be like, this dude wants a match so bad. He wants a challenger so bad. Let me challenge him, please.
Yeah, goddamn. Like, but you know what though? Credit to SmackDown writing and the Nick Aldis character because he immediately followed up after Logan around the room. I was talking to a top star. And like way to put Bianca back over after that diss by Paul because yeah, like if they just would have let that sit without a rebuttal, that would have left a really sour taste in my mouth. Although I have to give Logan credit because he knows he can get cheap heat, and it is pretty misogynistic 101 when he's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of your husband," just completely overlooking her. That was a pretty decent line. I'll give him credit.
Yeah,
But
I love
yeah,
how he was also like, oh yeah, congratulations on 2K. And then a few seconds later, oh, and congratulations on the TV show.
yeah. So yeah, Sir Blue, I think it's a fair question to ask. I don't think they're gonna bake Ford into this because right now
No.
he's just like I understand why you'd
He's
ask
got
that, but
so
he's
much
too
going on. And that's another
yeah,
thing we didn't talk
exactly.
about. B-Fab is a part of the Bobby Lashley faction now.
Which I really like. That boot she hit was nice. I think BFAB's slowly getting better. I
I
hope.
mean, we
I hope
know
that's
she's
what it's a
been
sign of.
working towards it, man. We saw clips of her working, training with like Natalia and the crew.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Good on her though for putting in the work. Super Blue again with Punk versus Seth off the table. What are the odds the women can main event now? I would say honestly they kind of got a bit worse because I think the
if
company was really
Cody,
banging on
yeah,
Punk
I was
versus.
gonna say if Cody really does end up in a match separate from Roman, I think the women's odds have definitely gone down of main eventing, which really fucking sucks because Io Bailey should absolutely main event one of the nights.
Yeah, like sorry Becky Rhea, which I think also is a legitimate claimant, but Bailey Io absolutely is where my heart hurts because like it's got so much story there. So yeah, Super Blue, I would
Basically,
say
if
pretty fucking
Cody,
low.
Roman, and The Rock are spread out among more than one match. Like if they are not all involved in the same match, if there are two matches that involve those three guys, they're, those are your two main events. That's just it.
Yeah. Super Blue asking, "What do you think about JC saving Chase U?" I'm intrigued, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Oh,
Ain't
I'll tell
no
you what the other
way.
shoe is. We already got a little hint of it on Tuesday. JC's calling the shots now, man. Andre
Yeah,
Chase is no longer in charge of Chase University. It is now JC Jane's show, and she's calling the shots and she's running it.
yeah, more like JCU. Get it
Yeah.
together,
Oh
Chase.
my God. I hope she tries to change it to that. And I hope that Chase tries to be like, but what are you doing? It's Chase you. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you pay for everything here?
Dude, in that exact tone.
I'm telling you,
Yes.
man. That's where they're going with it.
Yes. Okay. Cliff with a question. Do you think there's a real chance that Dwayne is slowly or not so slowly taking the reins of the company over Triple H, or do you feel like we're already pretty much getting there? I want to be very careful how we answer this because I don't want us to be hyperbolic or catastrophizing.
I really want
He's
to.
on the board of directors, but I think Triple H is still very firmly in the creative position. Now, let me just say this too, and then I want to hear what Ash has to say because I'm very curious where his mind is with this. Depending on what more unfolds in the Vince McMahon saga, maybe TKO would look at other options. It doesn't even necessarily mean Dwayne, but if I'm Triple H right now, I'm not getting too comfortable. I'm really not because I'm looking at it and I'm like, fuck, because they could say they're cool with you one day, but the bottom line could tell you something different. And depending on how much that's going to be affected by all this, I don't know. But what are you thinking, man, when you look at the internal makeup of WWE?
Triple H right now has 99% of creative control over the WWE, and as far as I am concerned, unless he is named specifically, Paul Levesque named specifically in one of these lawsuits against Vince McMahon for whatever the fuck he's done, whether it's not paying NDAs or if it really is for the amount of all of this sexual assault and literal sex trafficking that this dude has done, unless Paul Levesque is named very specifically in one of them, TKO is going to stand behind him. Why? Look at Dana White.
Yeah.
Dana White is a massive piece of shit. Everyone knows it. And TKO has stood behind him for all these years. Paul's going to have a long fucking leash.
Yeah, especially because, as you've mentioned a few times throughout the course of the show, WWE is making fucking money right
Yes,
now.
they are
And you know TKO is.
incredibly financially successful right now. And I also just want to add, Dwayne is fucking busy, man. He's got
Yeah.
the UFL to run. He's a fucking movie star still. Like,
I still want to ask him to get involved in politics. I know it's been
I
floated the
know,
last couple of
right?
years.
That too.
Like honestly,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
he's probably going to be a president of this country within our lifetimes. It would not surprise me at all.
God, oh my God. And no, I'm not saying oh my God to you. I'm saying oh my God because it's so true.
Because the
Like it's so
realization
fucking
hit you that I'm
yeah.
talking the truth.
Yeah, no, like I just God, the end times, please just take me. Fuck.
I'm just
Fuck.
saying, like, Dwayne is here because his schedule allowed for it. He's not going to stick around long. He's not interested in taking over the WWE. He doesn't have the interest or the time. And frankly, now that he's getting booed, I don't know if he even wants to be here now anymore.
He's like, man, acting's turned on me, wrestling's turned on me. Well, I guess it's time to be president.
And that's the thing is like acting hasn't turned on him. He had one movie flop, and now he's going to go back to being in the Fast and the Furious movies, which are wildly successful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we still haven't had the big showdown between his character and John Cena's character. They're saving that. That's going to still happen soon. I don't know, maybe the one that comes out this year, because they do them every fucking year, I want to say at this point. Like, Dwayne is busy as fuck. This man's schedule does not allow for corporate takeovers, okay?
Yeah.
Like, he's not gonna try and fucking shoulder out Triple H's creative control. He doesn't have the time to be controlling the creative of WWE.
And look, if he did want to drop the people's elbow on Triple H in his dreams, you know he'd delegate that shit. He'd be like, you, listen, I'm gonna fuck with this guy, so I need you to do all this stuff while I'm gone shooting Fast and the Furious 50 in space. Okay.
I love the 50 in space. That popped me.
Popping you is the best. It's an underrated activity, honestly.
See,
Okay.
Cliff, and you even undersell it when you say he's a movie star forever. He is the biggest movie star in the world right now, and has been for a few years now. Like he
Yeah.
is the guy. He is the Roman Reigns of Hollywood. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I think it's such a big deal that he's actually gonna fucking wrestle if he does. Because I still don't think it's a lock. I still think there's a possibility that they could squirm their way out of this and be like, oh yeah, The Rock, yeah, he's going to be the special guest insert role here, whether it's referee or enforcer or whatever the fuck, to guarantee that Cody doesn't get cheated again.
And then fans are just like, but why the stare down? And Rock's like, just to let him know. And like, but in that Rock voice where it's like he thinks he said something cool, but he said nothing. And it's like, but
I didn't
doesn't...
have to say a goddamn thing in that stare down. Roman knew that in that moment I became the tribal chief.
I'm too sober for this shit, man. Fuck me. Fuck. Oh god. Next question from actually Super Blue, because I keep looking at Dom's question, but Super Blue actually had a question above that. What does Dragunov do after if he loses the title today? Well, Super Blue, I guess we'll find out, because I mean, we're reacting to Vengeance Day because of your Patreon request, and I would just assume Dragunov either gets a rematch or maybe he gets called up so that he can be going through it WrestleMania for the IC title, because they just like Dragunov beating Gunther for some reason, even though Braun, Jay, Sammy, literally anyone else is right there. But he's not losing, so I'm not too worried about it.
What does Dragunov do after if he loses the title today? Huh. That's an interesting question.
I'm just thinking call up, unfortunately, but I don't know.
Bro, I mean, they knew that Tyler Bate wouldn't work in singles, so they called him up to be in a tag team, and that's been working pretty well so far. Dragonov, though, I mean, he's got the Tyler Bate problem, plus he doesn't have any friends. Maybe he could be the fourth member of Imperium, and they could build to him eventually turning on Gunther. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? You're not wrong. I commend you for making the best out of a bad situation. But like, why does Gunther got to keep jobbing out to this little shit? Like, am I the only one that just wants to see him murder this dude? Like, I don't know. And maybe my bloodlust is just too insatiable. But I'm like, Gunther, you're literally bigger than him. Like, just bully the shit out of him. What are we doing?
No. Ilya, if Ilya ever has a match with Gunther on the main roster, it should be about 90 seconds.
I'm standing up to you, Gunther. It's over. And Gunther's like, on what fucking planet?
Bro, did you hear their promos on Tuesday, Trick and Ilya?
No, I did.
Dude,
I felt
neither
bad for
one
Trick.
of them is good on the mic.
See, I feel like Trick is good on the mic. I just want to chalk it up
I
to a swing and
like
a miss.
Trick. I like Trick. I want to root for Trick, but he was not good on the mic on Tuesday, in my opinion.
I'm not denying that he wasn't. I don't want to generalize it. That's just like an encapsulation of his mic skills entire.
Like
Because I
I would
do feel like
say,
I've heard
let
him
me
cut
put it
better
this
promos.
way: I would give Trick's promo from Tuesday about a 6.5 out of 10. Ilya's like a
Yeah.
3.5 though. Ilya was bad.
Yeah. They just seemed awkward with each other. And the funny thing is, I never saw their one match that Trick challenged Ilya to try and prove himself. So I have no idea the kind of chemistry they have. I'm hoping that this doesn't translate to a bad match in ring tonight. I'm really hoping not. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how that goes. But yeah, getting to Dom's question. If Ilya retains, do you see him being involved in a triple threat involving Mello and Trick, or does he pivot to a new challenger for Stand and Deliver? Oh, Stand and Deliver's a big show too. That's a good question,
I'll
actually.
tell you what: if he retains because Mello turns on Trick, triple threat makes sense. If he retains via cheating and it turns out he was the attacker, then I would say Trick should just get a second shot at it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
But
agree
I,
with you
I
there,
really think it's just Mello, man. I really think Mello's gonna screw Trick tonight. I really do.
bro. The way he was looking at Trick when Trick was looking at Ilya, like
I
you
know.
motherfucker,
I know.
I'm me.
He
Don't
was
ignore
so
me.
jealous, dude. He was so jealous of Trick's success.
Way to not be a homie, you fake friend ass.
You
God
know, I
damn.
can't have you blowing up past me.
Trick, what do I always say? I'm him. And if I'm him, that means you're not. Like, fuck you, Mel.
He's
Um,
such a bad friend.
dude, I was getting ready to cackle, and I really should lower it down because it's getting later. My family's probably asleep because I thought you were getting ready to say with all that emphasis, he's such a bitch. And I was gonna fucking die because I was like, yep. Um, but no, let's get to other questions here. Super Blue
Ah,
again. Who's gonna finally beat Dar for the cup? I actually think Von Wagner could get a rematch and win that rematch. So I'm gonna say Von Wagner
I hope
still.
it's Robert Stone.
Stop.
Dude, his kids were hilarious during that match. They're the cute little bow ties. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
I'm
Super
trying to
Blue.
think of who Dar has beefed with though.
Yeah, Super Blue, I'm gonna skip
You
over
know
your
what?
other question. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a name out there that I would personally hate, but I feel like they would do anyway. Nathan Frazier beats Dar.
Oh yeah, I don't like that either. But yeah, I can see why you'd say it.
Yeah.
Uh Super Blue, I'm gonna skip your other question because we pretty much kind of talked about this in the beginning of the show. So I don't really want to repeat myself. I don't think Ashton does either. So we'll just go right to your next question. If not against Seth, what match would get Cody to main event night one over the EO versus Bailey? Maybe Drew if they wanted to make something
Drew.
out of that promo they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Kind of weird though.
Wait, they had a promo?
Um, Well, remember leading up to the Rumble where Drew came out and he reminded everybody that they used to tag, and he's
Oh
like,
yeah,
you know,
that's
you can
true.
introduce a
Yeah,
bit of
that's
a,
true.
you know, I'm just saying if they wanted to
And
make a
how
production
Cody,
out of
like
that promo.
Drew's last match on the Indies was Cody beating him.
I hope he claymores that tattoo off of his fucking neck, but you know, I
That
don't
would be
necessarily
doing
want it to happen
Cody
to Mania.
such a favor. Oh my god.
Yeah, and Drew is too much of a primo douche, and believe me, I mean that is the ultimate compliment. That yeah, it just wouldn't work out.
All
So
right, I think we've gotten through all of our questions. I think we're caught up. So I think it's time to close the gate. Do you want to do a countdown?
yeah, we no fuck the countdown. I'm closing it. It's done,
All right,
guys. We're
cool.
done. Because I we answered a shit ton of questions this week. So now high spots, low shots. Low shot. You know what? I'm gonna say my low shot's EO. She got way too cocky and way too confident, and Bailey spoke Japanese to her face, implying, I know all the shit you've all been talking about me from day one, from the jump, and I came prepared to this metal pipe. So, yeah, my low shot's going to be EO. Who's your low shot?
You know what? I don't expect it to last all the way through until Mania, but for now, because of how fragile all of his biggest fans are, I'm giving my low shot to Cody.
I know it was right there. I wanted to be a bit more inspired, but one of us had to
Uh,
take the low hanging fruit this week.
yeah,
One of
and
us
you knew
did.
I was never going to acknowledge that EO had anything bad happen at all.
Yeah, you're probably even side eyeing me like, sir?
When he
You know,
first said it, I was like, wait a minute.
Dude, it would have really been something because you know I'm gone right now, so I would have turned up. I would have been like, "Don't correct me right now," and you would have been like, "Sir," I would have been like, "Fine, but only partially." um, but high spot. You know what, man? Fuck. I want to give it to somebody that deserves it, not just because I'm a mark, but I want something that's also both. Um, this is actually. You know what, man? No, no, I don't like that either. I
Should
gotta
we
really
just
think
give
about
it to
this.
Dwayne, the Dwayneson?
Kill me.
Holy
Kill
shit,
me.
I heard you
No.
make anime noises. I
No,
said that
'cause,
and you literally went,
no, because I was thinking about it and I'm like, I'd literally rather die than give that bald
I
fuck
can't
any
remember
credit.
a time I've devastated you harder with words.
Wow. Um, goddamn, I really don't know who to pick this week on the WWE side.
Oh
Cause,
my
cause part of me
god.
wants to go Braun. You know what? I guess I will go Braun because they are, but they didn't even have their semifinal matchup this
No.
week.
I
That was
mean, I
last
think
week.
technically the Royal Rumble is a part of this week.
Wait, is it? I I guess yeah, right?
The
Huh.
Rumble happened on the 27th?
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah, because you have it in the title. It's from January 28th to February 3rd, so that's why I thought it was just outside the scope. Um, but fuck if the Rumble
But,
counts, I
well, yeah,
mean,
because you got to remember we actually did our in review before the Rumble on the
true,
27th.
true. So yeah, a Braun Breaker, Braun fucking Breaker. Everybody's talking about him right now, and no bread, no
Nobody's
water,
talking
just
about anything that isn't Cody and The Rock right now, but I get your point.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know, in kayfabe, he's got a lot of attention on him right
Right,
now.
yeah.
So yeah, and he's fucking amazing, and he's bringing masculinity back alongside Drew, and we are so fucking back, and it's great to be a douche, whether you're a jock douche or a douche or douche prime, which I feel like you know that's the level that Drew is at. Um, and if you're thinking, well, what's a douche? That's I had Logan Paul in mind when I said it. To be fair,
Oh my,
so
that is perfect. He really is a douche.
the way you
The
said it tickled
elusive douche squared.
me. The way you say things tickles me. I like it. So yeah, I'm just gonna say Braun Breaker. We are so back. No bread, no water, just mean in the word of Booker T. So yeah, good shit.
Nice.
Um, who's your high spot then?
Honorary high spot is going to go to Bailey because she did win the Royal Rumble, but then she also lost her support system, which is really unfortunate, and that sucks. And she's going to be facing the best women's wrestler in the fucking world at WrestleMania. That's also really tough.
Hell yeah.
Um, so yeah, she's had a very polarized week. Let's put it that way. But my actual high spot, I mean, I can't give it to anyone other than Swerve, man. He beat RVD's old ass and then cut a fire promo on Collision.
I hope this doesn't age poorly. I really
Yeah,
don't.
and let's be honest. If we're speaking strictly from a kayfabe perspective, he is finally getting an opportunity to earn a world title shot, and it's against a dude he's 2-0 against. He's set.
Yeah. He's kinda like the Cody Rhodes of this bitch, because if Cody does challenge Seth, it's like, "Dude, I beat you 3 times." Like,
Right?
it's in the bag.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, honorary low shot Bailey, actual or high spot rather, honorary high spot Bailey, actual high spot Swerve.
Makes sense to me. Let's get the fuck out of here. I wanna play games with you and chill
Hell
out.
yeah! We've been here for 2 hours and almost 40 minutes. Fuck.
That's 1 hour and 20 minutes too long to me.
So we've been
So,
here for twice as long as we should be then.
yeah. You know what, though? If there was any week to go this long, I mean, it was pretty insane this week. So,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for joining us sincerely, because, I mean, you've been here just as long as we have. So, you guys definitely deserve credit as well for your resilience and your endurance.
Abel, Cliff, and Super
Please,
Blue have been here the whole time, and Dom. All four of you have been here the whole time. Props.
yeah,
And my
respect.
mom.
Yes, yes. So please leave a like as you file out. Subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you understand that to goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch, because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. TwitWoW Request Live NXT edition. Thanks to Super Blue for his donation. Thank you for financially supporting the show, Super Blue. We will be live reacting to Takeover Vengeance Day. I was gonna try and do a spin on "Will you be my Valentine," but will you allow me to take vengeance upon you? That's probably what Mello's gonna ask Trick. I don't know, something like that. It's gonna be an interesting show. We already did a preview and predictions on here. You already know who we think is gonna win. It's time to watch another friendship be ruined, courtesy to pro wrestling. Yeah, yeah, but you'll be all right, Trick. You'll do great. So we're gonna do live reactions there, and then yeah, that's just it. And then as far as the new week, I think it would just be Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday for Stardom Catch Up, which hopefully would include the February 4th show, because
Yeah.
when I tell you I am chomping at the bit to see Saya versus Micah, like
It's
I
about
am.
to start like imminently if it hasn't already. I think it starts at like 2:30.
Goddamn, dude, that show. Fuck, I
Really
am so
wish we
ready
could
for that.
react to it live because there's no way we avoid spoilers the whole week.
I am really going to try to. I am really going to fucking try to, but we will have to see. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll see you guys then. And until then, be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in. Peace out.